So it's your number one show. Get Up Show is back, and we are right here to give in the best, especially when we talk about Zambian football. Yes, off season it is, but conversations do not go off seasons. Conversations still continue, conversations still always be there, and you are always welcome to share your thoughts. Your thoughts and conversations are very valid right here. I know if you are just joining in, wondering what it is the Get Up Show. I'm Moses Mpundu, and of course, the whole team is right here. Some of the gents obviously will be coming on board, they'll be joining as we proceed. Let's get to check up ourselves. Musman, how are things? How are you doing? And how have you been?
I know I've been all right. World Cup has kept me entertained. Well, I've been watching more the African teams, a bit of some European teams. It's been okay. We am coming from a long weekend, so had some rest at least. Got back to work on Thursday, and yeah, it's just been an easy weekend watching the World Cup. Hoping Ivory Coast win their next game, and hoping Messi also wins his next game.
Okay, so I thought you will say Ronaldo.
No, I talk about quality.
Okay, I don't want to raise any further debate. Let's bring in Milias. Milias, how have you been and how has been your week? And of course, just the overview. I know you're watching the World Cup as well.
Yeah, thanks, Moses. My week has been busy,
Mm.
so I'm trying to develop an application. So it has really kept me grounded. So yeah, it has been a busy, tiresome week. I haven't had the chance to watch the World Cup. I think the last game I watched was AC versus Czech. But yeah, with that said, I must say I'm impressed with African teams. I think this time we went to the World Cup to compete. We're just not there for numbers. You know, I'm very much impressed with the quality that we've brought. Um, I'm happy that our the 10 teams, like the 10 slots we have now, the 9 slots rather, plus 10 for Congo, is being justified. You know, we've shown them that we've got quality in Africa, and over the years they just treated us unfairly. So, seeing Morocco beat Scotland made me happy. You know, Congo drawing with Portugal, South Africa as well. I mean, South Africa. But yeah, so seeing the African teams play and compete has really made me happy. Yeah, so it has been a good week. Uh, yeah, thanks.
Okay, thanks, Milias. Mr. Mbewe, please, Mr. Mbewe, it's all about you, not obviously what, even close to what Milias was about to say. I know how hard you have obviously wanted and supported South Africa. I know. But please, how has been your week?
Well, the week has been okay. Yeah, just reached Lusaka. Is it yesterday? Uh, I think I spent it more in Luapula. I think the past week I was in Samfia. Yeah, made a lot of sense. Just meeting up with a lot of football people. Had a lot of time with the youth rep for the football association of Zambia, for Luapula province in Samfia. So he made me go and watch district football for both girls and boys. Did enjoy myself that side. The World Cup, I was super excited when South Africa scored the penalty. I was excited. You know, it's very emotional for me. You understand what I mean? You look at those players. and they are suffering for useless boys on the street. You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, they are suffering for something that they are not supposed to be. You can tell how this whole thing is actually getting on to them, and that's the pain. I tried to write something on Facebook. The backlash I received was, "You are alone. You are what? You are what?" A long thread, boss. I couldn't go back to start reading. I just said, no, no. So when Saube now equalized, I wrote again, Saube, we can do it. Boss, on average, I received 20, 30 comments. There was only 2 comments after South Africa equalized. It tells you how,
What?
yeah, it tells you how bitter people are, but I am trying as much as possible to separate politics to the boys that are playing. They played very well in the last game. They were actually a better side. So I'm just hoping they manage to get something from Korea. And already, if they don't get it into the top two, they fight for the best ranked team. So
Hmm.
through and through, Saube all the way.
Okay. My week as well has been good. I've been enjoying the comments, especially on the South African part. I did follow what Mr. Mbewe put up on the socials. I saw some other reactions coming from other countries. It's quite interesting and fascinating to see how people react to certain things and tend to shift their attention. But I love the fighting spirit, especially in the players, and
I was
and
impressed too.
how they have taken it, and it's upon themselves. It's like the weight of the world is just upon them, but they have to do it anyhow. And just seeing these young men singing the national anthem and tears are rolling, I was like, these are brave men, because it was really intense. But anyways, I'm enjoying how African players as well are just proving a point, especially at the world stage, and how they have turned up to be. They are a force to reckon with, and we have seen how teams have risen. So I feel it's going to be a great, of course, showpiece. There has been a lot of conversations to say why Africa having 10 slots, but now that conversation is being shut because even Cape Verde has proved a point
Mm,
on the 10 slots themselves. So
yeah.
if you are just joining in, the Get Up Show is right here. Our conversation line today, George Chicken Lwandamina. Wow, a lot of conversation on George. Extension with a contract at, of course, Nchanga Rangers, and NKANA will be ready to sign players, register new players at the club. And the Copper Queens will be regrouping as well. So we'll touch on related conversations to the Zambia national soccer team and the Copper Queens as well. So if you're just joining in, welcome on board. And of course, the Get Up Show, it is right here where you find deep conversations concerning Zambian football, debates, reactions, and everything to do with your team. So it's beyond your favorite color of your jersey. I say that it's beyond your favorite color of your jersey. I don't know which shirt Mr. Mbewe is putting on today. Musman is not in a Zanaco jersey. Is it Green Buffaloes?
Yes, GBFC.
Okay. I can see it from now. Yeah, I see it nicely. It's GBFC. So Mr. Mbewe is always. I don't know which jersey he was putting on last week. The other week I remember it
McKenny.
was McKenny All Stars. It was McKenny again.
Yes, a different
Uh-huh.
color. I
So
have 3 colors for McKenny.
please, we didn't say you should mention. So it's
Mr. Mbe, when
beyond
did you
the
start
color.
supporting Makeno Stars?
When
All
you
of a
stopped,
sudden, supporters are dropping from the sky.
Mm. So it's beyond the color of your football jersey, no matter the team that you support. Here, it's about conversations in terms of Zambian football. The Get Up Show, officially let's dive into the topic lines that we have today. George Chicken Lwandamina earlier reported going to Zesco United, and within a space of maybe close to a fortnight, 14 days or so, we saw George Chicken Lwandamina having an extension with Nchanga Rangers, as extending his contract with Nchanga Rangers, being head coach. Mr. Mbewe, let's start with you. This story, I know we had the conversation around it, but Chicken stays at Nchanga Rangers. How did you, of course, receive this news?
Yeah, first of all, I was not shocked. I think it's the news that did not surprise me, because George was not a free agent. Okay, George had a contract running with the Green Buffaloes. He had a contract running with Green Buffaloes, and the Zesco United had several meetings with him, which he agreed and stated that he had unfinished business. So they were not also wrong. But I think the big lesson is ultimately teams should know that you keep the news locked until it is done. Okay, so Nchanga Rangers got that. George went to them, sat with them, said, "No, I want an exit. Okay, I prefer dollar." Then he said, "No, you have this contract going on, so we are not releasing you. You understand what I mean?" And then on top of that, then what they are offering you, will double it. Okay, so he looked at it and said, "Wow, maybe let me finish the project." And what they did, they even managed to get him off the exco and took him to the highest board of KCM. Okay, that's how much Nchanga wanted him. And at that point, it was very difficult for the big man to let go, and that's how he resigned an extension to his contract for the next 2 years. And basically, I understand him. Look, George, if you practically look at it, even going back to Zesco was not a good idea for me. You understand what I mean? Because, of course, he was going to go there, stabilize it. I did talk about it on this show to say, I don't think, luckily, Get Up does not forget. You see, I said it here. Says he should actually go there to start stabilize that team, and not a long contract. Because I also did mention to say I think the one who does a lot of work at Changa Rangers is Israel Mwanza himself. You understand? So George has reached at a point of mentoring. Okay, so it's good that Changa Rangers have gotten hold of him, and the ripple effect now, the ripple effect of this Moses is that he has put himself on a blazing situation. You understand? Because now everyone knows that he wanted exit, including the fans of Nchanga Rangers. He's put himself where every little underperforming performance that we would witness at Nchanga Rangers, you expect those fans now to, "No, he should have gone." You understand what I mean? So that's the firing range that George has put himself into. But then this is a gaffer. He is a man who knows exactly what to do. From what we are seeing, it will be a very. We all know what we saw last season. At some point, we even thought that Nchanga Rangers would actually make it into CAF. Okay, that failed. So the stability will be there. We expect a very difficult Nchanga Rangers to beat, but there's something with quality that Nchanga Rangers is still. They may have George, but there's just something that is still lacking in that team, and that is the resource on the pitch itself. Unless they do amazing transfers, the squad that we saw at the end of the season as a core squad is not good enough to actually get what Nchanga is looking for. But kudos to KCM, kudos to kudos to the man you see in the bottom right, on the left. That is Mr. Mkelawa, the president of Unchanga Rangers. I did call him to find out. He says, no, we are keeping George Bwan. True to his words, they managed to do it. So I think it's just big up. For Zesco, they should have kept it as much as possible on a closed lead until it is out. Because what is looking now, it is more looking like a very disorganized Zesco United side. You understand? Because they'll have to start getting back to the roots and see who else are we looking for. There's this short transition. Do we just do the short transition and forget about the longer term? So there are all these things now, and everything all of a sudden is back to Zesco United. Okay, is back to Zesco United, and what are we looking for? What is it that Zesco is actually going to show us again? That's what is going on. Of course, there are rumors of George Chirufya getting to Zesco. How long that contract may be? Again, those are rumors. I don't know why Zesco's rumors come out quickly than most of the other teams.
Do they come out quickly, Mr. Mbeu?
Yeah, they do. Already, listen. Even before we finalize about the George Lwandamina issue, the George Chirufya being linked to Zesco is already hot. You understand what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. There's a comment here, Jessica. Thank you so much. And of course, good to know that you're following the conversations right on the Get Up show. Didn't I hear you say Lwandamina is back at Zesco United, Zesco, or I was just deep in a dream, or maybe he just made a U-turn with a convincing package? This is for you, Mr. Mbewe. It's coming from Jessica.
No. George
Before you just jump on it, you have talked about the package. I've seen what he has written here, a convincing package. I think you have talked about a package and what has happened to him at Inchanga Rangers.
Yeah,
but maybe
I'll
she's
say
just
it
trying
again.
to recite back to what you said previously.
No. I talked about a prospect of George Lwandamina going back to Zesco, because George Lwandamina had discussed all these issues with the Zesco United Exco. He did attend their meetings. He agreed. You understand what I mean? So, what Jessica is talking about is an article which I wrote and said, is it a good move for George? You understand what I mean? Because everything was done. So, Jessica, what George Lwandamina did after finalizing everything in Zesco, he went to Changa Rangers because he still had a running contract. To tell Zesco, to tell Changa to say, I want an exit. Can we talk about the separation? Now, Changa Rangers refused because there was that running contract with them. Okay? And it's one of those fewer things, because what we have seen in the past is that at that point, the club would literally let the coach go. Okay? But Jaga Rangers here showed us that no, they still wanted him. Jessica, I'll also remind you about Numba Mamba's exit from Kawe Warriors to Zanaco. Even under contract, Kawe Warriors ended up giving up because Zanaco came with a very convincing package for Numba Mamba, who he couldn't give up at that point. So that's exactly what that article was all about. And what we are getting, of course, is that what Zesco wanted to give him, they've doubled it. So basically, if we are talking about numbers, we may say he may be the most expensive coach now in this country, or Numba Mamba is still above, and they should be closer to each other. Those are speculations that we may start thinking about now. Because, why am I talking about that? Zesco United pays average of 60, you understand? Because Zesco does not break the bank on coaches. So 60, somewhere there. Now, if Changa Rangers did double it, we are talking about 120. I mean, Take note that these are speculations. Okay, we are talking about 120, and
Yeah.
you get back to what we heard about Lwandamina when he left. So they are about the same. So these two may be the most expensive coaches. And again, the ripple effect of it is that it actually went to also touch Beston, as KCM is also rumored to have touched Beston, because there was a likelihood of NKANA coming to get him. But again, KCM closed that tap as well. So honestly speaking, big up to KCM. And I think, or I hope I've answered Jessica's question.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mbewe. And of course, Jessica, thank you so much. And the response coming in from Mr. Mbewe. If you are just joining in, the Get Up Show is right here, and the conversations are hot, especially around Zambian football. Yes, indeed, the World Cup is up and running, but our conversations as well cannot be left behind. We are tagging along, we are having them right here on the Get Up Show, and it teases you to be part of the conversations. Remember, here it is beyond, it is just beyond that badge, that color of your football jersey, and of course, it teases you to share in, to bring the conversations right on this very platform. Let's bring in Musman. Musman, interesting conversation around George Lwandamina. If Atoy he had gone back to Zesco United, he would be one of the most, of course, returning coaches to a particular club in Zambian football, especially at the recent times. So George Lwandamina maintains with Nchanga Rangers 2-year extension, and of course an improved package for him. This is huge for obviously a Zambian coach, unless that will see a coach, of course, still maintain to say, I'm going to stay, though he had made a decision that he is going to go. Once receiving this news, or once upon you received this news, what was running into your mind, Musman?
I'll start by saying, I was happy. Um, I think for you to have a competitive league in the nation, all the teams in the country need to be able to compete with the big boys, and at the rate at which Zesco are going down, they will soon discover copper. That was literally a small boy move. Give you an example of Zanaco. We wanted someone, we went to get them. That's what big clubs do. Zesco, just 4 or 5 years ago, would want anyone and get that person. So it goes to show that there's a lot going wrong at Zesco United. But the positive in everything that has actually happened is that Nchanga Rangers, who are still, one of the bigger clubs in Zambia, they've got history. They've had legends in their club. They've produced national talent, but they had dwindled over the years. They became a national first division side. They were in and out the Super League and national first division, in and out in just these last few seasons. So it goes to show that they have restructured themselves, and now saying that we are no longer eating with the small boys, we're now able to sit at the big table with everyone. Because for them to deny their coach to go and offer him, as apparently offer him, or allegedly offer him double the amount of money that he was making, or more money than he was making, and for a club like Nchanga to be able to allow him to stay, that goes to show that there's somewhere we're going in the league. Quite all right, George Lwandamina has been around for years, but we've seen what he's done at Nchanga Rangers. He's a legend of football. He's won trophies for every team he's gone to, maybe except Kawe Warriors. But he's done, tremendous work in Zambian football. And for a team like Nchanga to say, no, Zesco, hold on. You're no longer a big boy. We are here to sit with you, and we're telling you that you're not going anywhere. That's a statement from a club, and that makes me happy, because this goes to show that now smaller clubs with we've been talking about limited finances and things like that. KCA, my big sponsor, of course, but this should motivate clubs that want to sit in and around the table as well. You look at your Nkwazis, that's the police. Those are teams that should now be making statements to say, I can go and get, a so and so coach to come in. I can go and get an expatriate coach to come in so that we can improve the club. So for me, this is a start. Changa Rangers have shown that they are big boys too. They are on Zanaco levels. They've reached the point where, they've stood their ground. My friend here, Milias, was crying week in, week out when the big boys went to, show them how it's done. And for me, it just brings excitement. I know people come out and say recycling of coaches, but this is not a recycle. Lwandamina has been at the club now, if I'm not mistaken, 2 seasons and has done tremendous work. And to not let him go will show that the club will move further and further and further, because Lwandamina will bring in the players that suit his style of play. And I think Changa Rangers will be one team that will be fighting for a CAF slot and also dominating football on the Copper Belt.
Okay, thank you so much. And of course, on the other side, Muba, that's Mubanga, Aaron has obviously joined the Zamfoot CEO. Aaron, welcome to the Get Up Show.
Thank you, Moses.
Okay, so you came in a little bit late. The conversation is around George Chicken maintaining at Nchanga Rangers. I know there is a whole lot of conversation as well to do with the Copper Queens. We'll be diving into that as one of the fillers in terms of the conversations today. The World Cup is up and running. Your GOAT has to prove the other GOAT has done it. I don't want to raise
He went
that
to the barber shop. He went to the barber shop.
Okay, you should know something.
And they went to the Congolese barber shop.
Aaron, don't mind this, gents, please. Aaron, you are welcome. George maintains 2 years at, of course, in Changa Rangers. Milias, I'll come to you. Let's bring in Aaron.
Well, Moses, I think this is a story that like Musa said, I think for us to be competitive, because at the end of the day, when you look at the quality of the World Cup we're watching, we need a very competitive Zambian Super League, because majority of our players come from here, for us to be able to be progressing towards that level. So for us to be very competitive, we need all these teams to be able to stand up like Kinchanga have done and say, oh, no. Go and look elsewhere. This is our coach. We are tying him to a contract extension or giving him these improved conditions. This is a story that we followed from the word go how it started. Like Bozan said, there was an approach, there was a verbal agreement, and after that, I think George used that also to his advantage to go and negotiate a better deal with the Changa Rangers. And I think from the word go, from my sources at Changa Stadium, he was hesitant to go the other way. He wanted to stay at Nchanga because earlier on there were discussions of him already making transfer plans, the players he wanted to bring in, and how they were going to start this transitional league that was starting, I think, in September, and discussion of how it was going to be done and things like that. So from there, Nchanga offered an improved deal. He signed that extension, and Zesco United have already, but after the stalling started, they had already moved on to Cabo Warriors. Media's team is always the victim. They had already moved to Cabo Warriors. They want to get George Chonto Chirufia as their head coach, with discussions of Chimunya Mwetua as part of their technical bench. But there are also discussions that Chimunya Mwetua, should George go that side, could be heading to Cabo Warriors and things like that. So I think this Nchanga Cabo Warriors Zesco story is something that I've followed a lot, and there's still pieces to it, but it's a good thing that George has stayed at Nchanga, because Nchanga, if we watched them last season, they looked like a team that was building something. So it was good to see them to keep George and see what they could become, because at the end of the day, we may banter here and say, oh, Zanaco has been beaten and whatnot, but like Musa said, we would like to see all these teams that looking like big boys to be competitive, it shouldn't be so easy for Power Dynamos to be winning the league. It then defeats the purpose. So we want to see what George could build there. We want to see what Numba will build at Zanaco. And then whoever goes at this, we want to see them also build something so that the league becomes so competitive that for you to win the league, you have to sweat for it, which means the players have to work very hard. So even when you go to the national team, you are used to competition. Not win a game easily. When you go there, you find Morocco, then you're like, this is football. Yeah, so I think it's a good thing that George has stayed, and I think the stability will help Nchanga. I think they need to come back again because at the start of the season, they were fighting for the league. They were like second, first for majority of the start of the season. Of course, Power and Red Arrows came and took over all those things. But if they can again go back next season and also compete again and fight for that league again, that would be very good for them.
Okay, thank you so much, Aaron, and Tutu on the other side as well. It's joining in. Great conversations as well. Cosmas Musman clapping. You've seen that, Musman. You obviously. Thank you so much, Cosmas Mwava, and of course, welcome to the Get Up Show. We are right here to give you great conversations surrounding Zambian football and all the stories that matter. Each and every day, it is you to be part of these stories, and we are right here to give you all those conversations. So this goes just beyond the color of the football jersey, the team that you support, whatever the favorite player that you might be following. But hey, it's being involved and, of course, sharing the most that you can. Let's come to Milias before we bring in Tutu. Milias, these are interesting conversations relating to Zambian football. On a single day, the only thing would have heard is George has signed with Zesco United, but he has maintained his stance with, of course, Nchanga Rangers. There he is, and of course, that's an extension that he got Nchanga Rangers. And the three gentlemen made sure that he signs it and, of course, seals it. And the man has been kept at Nchanga Rangers for the next 2 years. Milias, this is some interesting conversation around Zambian football.
Yeah, it is. It is actually Moses. I mean, first of
Maybe
all,
before
I'm impressed.
Milias,
Yeah.
before you just break it down, let's of course read this message as well from Yamikan Shower. Honestly
All right.
speaking, I am a diehard Zesco United FC fan, but looking at how things are at the moment, it's worrying. Honestly, I would like to understand how our Madame Chairperson is doing, because from the time she assumed office, no progress has been made. One, signing low grade players. Two, recycling of coaches, which is making us sick. I think the best thing to do is Madam Chairperson should resign in peace because we are not happy with what's happening. Okay, this is an interesting comment coming in from Yamikani Shower there. But Yamikani Shower, appreciate your time and of course, welcome to it. This is where you get to drop such kind messages, and of course, we get to hear your thoughts concerning your team. You may obviously go ahead, Milias.
All right. Thanks. So for starters, I must say I'm impressed with Nchanga Rangers. I'm impressed that defended the project they want to build. I think this is the competition we want in the league. And if you followed Nchanga Rangers over the past season, I think they've done pretty well. It's just that towards the end, they grow weary and lose focus. But when the season is starting, you can see their fight, you can see their zeal. So there's a project they are trying to build, and hopefully one day it pays dividends. So for starters, I must say I'm impressed with Nchanga Rangers. Secondly, coming to George, there's a joke that they offered him more money and he couldn't leave. I mean, we are all here for the money. I mean, whatever we do, we want monies. So coming to George, I think I understand him. Staying in Changa Rangers, for the money, it's okay. I mean, so I understand the step he has taken. But apart from that, I think he's built in a strong project, and I'm happy that he's still around. I would want to see his project grow, and hopefully one day pay dividends. He's got quite a good players. I mean, a few good players. Christopher Itak have been one of them. So that I think now it's time to beef up the squad if they are to compete on on the top stage. I mean, you've got a good coach. If you want to compete, get good players. So I hope Chenga Rangers does that. Coming to Zesco United, I honestly think it's a blessing for them. I think last week I said George Lwandamina going back to Zesco United was just going to do them a disservice. So it's a blessing for them. I think it's time for them to sit down, reflect, and probably get an international coach who is good. They shouldn't recycle these coaches. They already tried George Lwandamina. So what did they want to say? So it's a blessing for them. I honestly think they should go for an international coach if they are to build. They came for George Chilufya. George Chilufya is doing okay at Kawe Warriors, but is he going to manage Zesco United? Because it's different. Zesco United and Kawe Warriors are different. Kawe Warriors, you finish number 4. You've had a good season. At Zesco United, if you're going to finish number 4, that's a very bad season. So what Zesco United needs now is an international coach, a proper coach that will restore their form, that will restore their glory. Yeah, and lastly, I think it's time they also just put the administrative issues in order. I think now they need to get a CEO. This is a perfect time. Someone that will outline the project. Someone who's going to spearhead the project. Someone who's going to say, "No, I'm going to get this coach because I'm looking at this project." So they need to sort out their administrative issues first if they are to bounce back. Otherwise, this tic-tac decision making will just cost them. Even next season, the transition season that's coming, we'll just see the same Zesco United that had a very poor form. So yeah, in conclusion, kudos to Changa Rangers for keeping Lwandamina. Yeah, my contribution, Moses.
Milius, has your team become your team Kawe Warriors? Have they become an academy for coaches or like a stepping stone? If you want to go to a better club, you go to Kawe Warriors. Is that what your team has become?
Yeah, my team has always been like that because even the players we supply quality. Look at Prince Mumba, Fundompase. Yeah. The thing is that we don't have money. We are a parastatal sponsored site. And I always say this: we are the most poorly parastatal sponsored site, if I can put it like that. So the fact is that we don't have money, So if someone is going to come for a player with a lot of money, probably the player will go. Because we are all here for the money. We're trying to secure the bag. So in as much as I feel bad, one thing I have to know is that we don't just have the monies, and there's nothing we can do about that because we're a state-sponsored site. So yeah. Some okay. On a train nowadays. So Ndarama is actually good. When was the last time you got on a train?
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much, Milius. That's Milius there sharing in, and of course the picture you're seeing there is of course George, and of course their signed contract sealed 2 years extension with Changa Rangers, and seems Musman has earned himself a free jersey. Cosmos here says for the comments Musman made, we are getting him a new Changa Rangers jersey. It's hard to get such a comment from a Zanaco diehard. I like the cross section that is coming in here, Musman. You have earned yourself a Changa Rangers jersey.
Even before, no. Moses, even before he responds, People don't know. People don't know Musman. Musman has history about Chingola. Okay, if
Yeah,
you put the teams that he has a soft spot, Changa Rangers is one of the teams. Okay,
Yeah.
so don't get flattered, Cosmas. Don't get flattered. This guy has a bit of some Changa Rangers blood in him. We all know he's a Zanaco guy. Okay, but he has a history about Chingola and Changa Rangers, and you should
Mis-
do you should see his comments about Changa Rangers through and through.
Mr. Mbewe, have you failed to just hold it?
I know
You
this
just have
guy,
to hold
Moses. I
it.
know this guy.
Yes, we know.
But
Did you have to come out like that?
he's not even referring to what I said. I was
Yes.
just speaking the truth. The big boy things that are happening here in Changa have shown that they're here to compete.
Thank you so
Whenever have
much.
you seen a Zesco United have someone say you can't take our coach? It can't happen, but in Changa have done it. So comment on that.
Thank you, Mr. Mbewe. Thank you for shedding more light and highlighting, and of course, how Cosmas should understand Musman as well. So he would be soft as he can, especially for Nchanga. I would say that. But let's have Tutu. I saw Tutu somewhere. I hope we still have Tutu. Tutu, good morning. Welcome to the Get Up Show.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the show. Yeah, a lot of happenings around the Zambian league. So
Yeah.
I think my
And
few remarks has to be on the chicken George Lwandamina news that has been circulating on the media. I think for Rangers, it's they have shown that they want to build something because the time Lwandamina came to Rangers, he's transformed the team. You know, he's one coach who made players that were rejected by other clubs, players who thought maybe they couldn't do good. But under Lwandamina, we saw a much improved Jacob Kaunda. We saw Itaka regaining his form. We saw the youngsters how they were firing. So he's building up something. And Sembezana Mulekerako, it meant that the new person would have started over and over again. So for continuity and growth, Rangers Barangiza maturity, management fighting, making sure that chicken stays because I think it's driving them in a certain direction. And vision yake ioneka. So it's good that he stayed with Rangers. Semezana Bwera Zesco, I think the relationship where Lwandamina and Zesco is a bit toxic. Last time they got him from Warriors. In fact, they exchanged Batenga Lwandamina, Bwera Zesco. Then Numba went the other way. But when Lwandamina came, the way he was chucked, I didn't give respect to a coach of his caliber. So I think his chapter na Zesco, let him just forget. It's good that he's remained ku Rangers achite concentrate na Nchanga. For Zesco United, they've got a lot of issues, lot of issues. That club needs just to sit down and sort out their internal issues because it's not the Zesco that we used to know. We are talking about a Zesco that used to sit on the same table with Mamelodi Sundowns, exchange notes. They would go punch for punch with the big clubs in African continent, but that's the story of the past. So Zesco, they need to sit down, have a honest conversation with themselves, and then they need to look up for a coach who is going to build up the team because they are not there anymore. You know, story as Zesco also reminds me like Yaba Zambia national team, whereby we still think Tikalipa level 2012. We are not there. That's just a fact. We need to accept, and you know, acceptance is the first stage. Once you accept the situation badly, then you look for alternatives on how you're going to go forward. Same as Zesco. They are not the Zesco of back then. So wafunika chambe coach as a kankana long-term plan. So I don't think Lwandamina would have been a better coach for them. But for this one, it's just kudos to Nchanga Rangers by honest that they really want something, and it's good that they have kept Lwandamina. And I'm pretty sure he's going to do Azaka Chitamusha, Azaka performer, because last season he showed us what he's capable of. I think these are my few remarks on the Lwandamina issue.
Thank you so much, Tutu, there. And of course, Lucky, good to know that you are locked on as well, especially where the Get Up Show is concerned, discussing conversations around Zambian football and just diving deep into many other relatable conversations. It's good to see a Zambian team keep a coach, which means they have a target, and soon we'll see the fruits there. This is quite interesting conversation, especially when we talk about coaches. Now, I've come to like something here, setting things on your terms. This is what I can say, especially when I see George Lwandamina maintaining at Njanga Rangers. He goes back, he tells them, I want to go, and they say, no, we have plans for you. This is what we are going to do. And he reflects on that and he sees it's good. So, in other way, now, if in other ways, Zambian coaches are trying to set terms based on what they want. Numba did it with the movement that he had from Kawa Warriors to Zanaco, because earliest we saw him that Jesco United wanted him, but he ended up with Zanaco. I think this is the way it's supposed to be. And one thing that triggers even quality is such. And if this can happen going forward in most of these clubs, I think it's going to add the value that teams want by the end of the day. Because working within the terms and understanding the terms that are available is very important, especially where football is concerned. So what Changa Rangers have done is commendable, and this is an incredible job by the end of the day. They deserve to see some good fruits, especially in the coming years. And it will not be disappointing for me to see that they still hold on to George Lwandamina regardless of the results. This is good. And for Zesco United, they are trying to cut off a tree by first plucking the leaves. I'll say that because the major problem is more practically away even from the team. They need to put their house in order. They need to function within the systems that are going to allow the team function as a team on the field of play. That is not happening. So even if you bring any other coach, it's cutting leaves from a tree and hoping the tree to dry. It won't. They need to put their house in order, and things are going to move. And maybe teams should start doing what Changa Rangers have done, what Zanaco have done, working within the terms. I know it's really hard, but practically in the long run, this is what bears the fruit. So good job. And this is a win for Zambian football. It's a win for everyone who obviously wants to see some good football in the coming years altogether. So it's quite interesting. So let's hope that teams learn. I know most of the times that are the most dealt with the coaches. But let's maybe have a thought as well from Mr. Mbewe. Mr. Mbewe, with all what has been said, reflectively, what should we anticipate maybe in the coaching area coming next season?
It's a general question. Are you able to streamline it?
Yeah, it's a very general question, but let me put it this way. Have you noticed something with how George Lwandamina has maintained at Nyanga Rangers and how Coach Numba moved from Car Warriors and found himself at Zanaco Football Club?
Well, I think Musman touched that.
Yes, Usman touched that. That's why I thought of bringing you in.
Yeah, perfect. It actually brings a very good prospect, and also looking forward. You understand? A lot of what Changa Rangers has done, you will see a lot of teams doing it. Okay? Here is the thing. If you saw what Kama Warriors did to Numba Mamba, where he signed for Zanaco and for a long time, a number of games he couldn't sit on the bench, we knew we were getting closer to the teams knowing how to guard their coaches. Okay, so that was an example. But with the same example, Nchanga Rangers have actually stepped up. Okay, not only stopping him, but sitting down with him to still make him excited and committed to the team. That's a different aspect altogether. So, and people should not undermine what Nchanga Rangers has done. It's huge. Okay, and it is giving a very big statement to coaches, because you know what the coaches have been doing. They leave at any time they want to leave. Even when people like Musman is going to celebrate and say big teams just go and pick. Okay, most of these coaches have never and have not been respecting contracts. Okay, what we are seeing now is something that we should be excited of. Okay, a contract is an agreement. Okay, coaches in Zambia have to learn to say my contract is 2 years. You can only talk to me 6 months before the end of my contract, but I'm not moving. You understand what I mean? They will need to pay more. That's one business aspect that I think we've seen in European football. So if they want, they would need to pay more to buy out those clauses of the contracts. But this is kudos to Nchanga Rangers, and we are now seeing administrators waking up to protect what they have, because they have a project. You know how destabilizing this matter is. You are building a project, someone just pops up and say, okay, I'm done here, I'm going. You bring another coach who have to restart again. For instance, in this case, if he had left, Israel Mwanza was going to be an interim. You understand? Qualification would not allow him to be the head coach until he does that CAF A. Again, one issue that we need to talk about, I think, in detail. So they were going to look around. Who else? George Chirufya, and he was actually one of them that they were already lining up. You understand? Then what will happen to George Chirufya? He will leave Kawe Warriors. In all the problems that Kawe Warriors have, they will start looking for another coach to start that project without money. So all these are issues that I think we are learning a lot from Changa, and we will need to actually look at it. But now, the failure of Zesco United to get George Lwandamina, again, the recycling opens up. You understand? Because Kalengo was interim. He cannot be substantive coach. He doesn't have the qualifications. Okay. So Zesco United are looking for a coach. Are they going to go out of the country? I really doubt. Their budgets at the moment do not allow an expatriate, and unless they change their project altogether. So they'll be looking for a coach around the league again. Okay, who is the coach that is not happy at the moment? He has not told me he's not happy, but the situation you can tell. And this is the reason as to why everything at the moment is pointing at George Chirufya to go to Zesco. For how long, we don't know. So these are the dimensions that I feel Nchanga Rangers have put a very good benchmark of coaches respecting their contracts.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Mbewe. And that should be a trend, especially with our teams here. But Cosmas Mwaba, um, I'm speaking as a diehard Nchanga Rangers fan, and I can tell you that what is happening at Nchanga Rangers will soon mature into success. Next season, this team will be a team that will fight to win the league, because success is not accidental but rather planning, and Nchanga is doing the planning well. This reminds me of how things used to be under the late Fortune Kabole. Well, would say awesome, and of course, good to know that you are still with us, Cosmas. And you can do the same. You can share in your thoughts right on the Get Up Show. We'll be more than glad to hear from you, and of course, sharing on these pertaining issues relating to Zambian, of course, football altogether. So the whole lot of conversations right here, and the gentlemen are right here to obviously dive into as well. So another message here. Is it Moot Emma? We want to see your faces, gents. Okay, our faces, gents, they are requested to be seen. By the end of the day, our faces have to be seen. Thank you so much.
Agreed.
And of course, yeah, agreed. Good to know that you are always part of the conversation as well, and sharing in is very important. And we are right here, and the faces are popping up right on the screen. If you are seeing the screen right now, and those are the gents there. I don't know where that Zanako, uh, is it jumper has come from? I didn't see it earlier, and anyway.
I've been wearing it the whole time.
It was all
From
inside
the,
kept.
I just had the jacket on because it was cold outside, so I've come in.
Okay, all right. So there you have it. So do not be, of course, intimidated with whatever badge you would see on the Get Up show. What I can tell you is it's beyond the badge, beyond the color of the shirt, beyond the team you support, beyond the players. Here it's all about conversations, debates, and sharing in what obviously matters the most in terms of Zambian football. Let's bring in Aaron. I want us to close the issue around George Lwandamina. In your few words, what should teams learn from what Nchanga Rangers has done going forward?
Lock in your coaches, put in those clauses that make it hard for them to be released. So put in things like if before the end of the contract, a club wants to sign you, they need to pay us maybe the value of the remainder of the contract or a certain amount of money. Like it is with players, there is that release clause. Maybe let's say contract ikaliko, and then there are issues player funoenda maybe mulika $50,000 as ka sign as ka release clause or ka 50,000 kwacha. So that could be paid. I think they need to put in they need to tighten the way they put their contracts. My contract inangu yali too vague. Contract sikamba was about anything else. Pariche ozambo fola so mawini so kwasira na targets bwino palibe. So we need to tighten the way we do our contracts, make sure they protect the club and the coach so that it's a win-win for both clubs. I think this is a good sign from Nchanga Rangers, and hopefully most clubs have learned a thing or two from them.
Tutu, what do you have to say about what Nchanga Rangers have done? Tutu, are you able to get me?
Yes. I'm able to get you. Yes.
Okay, are you sharing the same thought with what Aaron has said concerning Nchanga Rangers? They fought for George through obviously terms, and George has stayed at Nchanga Rangers.
Yeah, I think I agree with what Aaron is saying. I think it's high time. My clubs, they need to, when you sign a coach, Kambiri, you have got a long-term project. So within their contracts, they need to put my clause that are going to make sure that the coach stays. If the coach had to leave, maybe the other club that wants him, they need to pay up money and they need to put up my clause. That's like the way we see it in my clubs. Like you see that the release clause, Lamine Yamal is an exorbitant amount of fees. So even the coaches, let them be clubs putting up my exorbitant fees, making it difficult for the coach to leave within that period of time. Because when you sign a contract, you have to fulfill that contract. So it's high time clubs needs to protect the coaches, because Vimapuzana Kumbuyo, like Wambewe said, you sign a coach, you start a project, a 3-year project, halfway line, coach Agutavan, Matenga assistant, Ashta take over, you have to start over again. So it's quite disturbing, and it has got a financial toll. So I think clubs now, when they're signing coaches, these are lessons we can learn, because the way Rangers have handled this issue, they've handled it in a very mature and a professional way. So I think most clubs can learn from them. They need to secure contracts with coaches, put clauses that are going to make it difficult for coaches to leave anytime they wish. Like, pewafuna check aenda. No. So these are the lessons that we can learn from Rangers, and I totally agree with what my brother man Aaron has said. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. That's to the end. Of course, it's all about Zambian football. It's all about great conversations themselves. And let's close it with, of course, Musman. Musman, you just raised, of course, something serious and something important, especially when you touched on what Changa Rangers did. Eh, any maybe uh, thought or last thought that you'd want to echo around this conversation itself? You you pointed something really, of course, interesting and really serious that brings a lot of um, uh, conversations to Zambian football. Administrative leave after administrative leave, but what you said uh, was leading to maybe uh, break that chain of administrative leave after administrative leave. Why? Because what Nchanga Rangers has done have proved that they will be ready to fight for what makes sense to them. I don't think Zanaco Football Club in similar vein can do away with Numba or can do away with a coach just anyhow on how, based on how they brought Numba Mama. So far, I'm satisfied with Njanga Rangers and Zanaco Football Club. With this, what has happened? Any thoughts that you can add on and to what you had said earlier?
Not really. I mean, like I said, it's all about the competition in the league, and teams like Inchanga Rangers that have been in and around the National First Division and have come in and have tried to compete and have gone and gotten a quality coach. I think that goes to show that the league is now starting to strengthen, because, I mean, the big boys of the leagues have always been, your NKANAs, your Kabwe Warriors. Kabwe Warriors are legends of the league. Mufula Wanderers are legends of the league. And Power Warriors is just destroyed left, right, and center every time someone goes. Even when Bwezani goes to manage Kawe Warriors, very soon you'll be hearing that Nchanga Rangers is now coming for Bwezani Mbeo. And at the end of the day, you ask yourself to say, okay, what is this is now competition coming to the league. So like I said, I would, and Bwezani also alluded to that, kind of, to say that now other teams will be going into this and saying to themselves, this is how we stand. I know people have talked about contracts, etc., but look, at the end of the day, if the coach has signed a 3-year contract and I, as a big club, come to them and say, I'm going to pay off that 3-year contract, I should be able to get the coach. I think those clauses have been around Zambian football. Zanaco had to pay out a lot of money just to bring Numamba into the club. It's not like he could just walk up and say, all right, I'm going to start. He was sitting on the bench for a while until those negotiations took place. So, it goes to show that Nchanga Rangers are sitting on the big boy table now, and I hope to see other teams do it as well. But this is kudos to the Zambia Super League itself in terms of competition, and I hope to see a lot more of this going on, especially when we see young coaches do well. When you see Mwenyach people do well, at Forest Rangers, then all of a sudden, the bigger teams are going to just get him whenever they want. And, now you look at where Forest Rangers are today. So things like that, you see, you go with your Mwenyanchi Pepo and Forest Rangers should say, no, he's not going anywhere. So it's a start, and I hope it brings out an effect where all the clubs do this. But kudos again to Nchanga Rangers.
Okay, there you have it. And of course, you can always share in. You can type that message. We'll be more than glad to hear from you and get what you have in terms of the conversations today. So George maintains at Nchanga Rangers 2 years extension, and of course NKANA is back in terms of transfers. They'll be able to register players and make those transfers. And we can't forget the national playoffs as well are just around the corner. The Copper Queens to regroup as well ahead of the WAFCON. So that's preparation and just the preparedness of the team for the WAFCON in itself. So wherever you are, whatever you are doing, whatever you are involved in at the moment, you can always find time to just be part of course, the Get Up Show. Just a hi sometimes, just to let us know that you are locked in, and of course, you are part of the conversations. Will be highly appreciated. The whole team is here, the whole minds ready to break, and of course, just dissect and be part of everything. It is right on the Get Up Show right here. Now, let's jump to the NKANA issues, the NKANA stories. NKANA for some time have been serving, of course, this transfer ban, and now it was lifted. It simply means that NKANA can be able to go into the market and bring players on board, sign players. They still have a lot of relatable issues as well, just like one we were talking about in terms of the coaches, and they have been in the news in the most recent times altogether, which is worthy to discuss about. Let's start with you, Musman. NKANA can make signings. NKANA can be involved in transfers as we speak.
I think this has been an ongoing excuse from NKANA fans, NKANA management, NKANA Exco. It's been an ongoing excuse to say we're unable to sign players, etc. But if you look at it critically, if you want to end your career or you don't want to go to the national team, go and join NKANA Football Club. They have been a club that's been downward hill and in and just around the circle, always trying to, they could win 3 games straight and they make you think as though they are winning the league or they've been winning the league back to back. But you look at the quality of players they've had over the years without the transfer ban. You look at the quality of players they've had. I can't pinpoint one good player today that could have say, oh, this guy could play, in the AFCON qualifiers at any given point. I haven't seen any quality. So for me, it comes down to their exco as well. They've made their changes with Mwanza coming in, but you have to ask yourself, what caliber players are they going to attract? What type of players are they going to attract in a coach like Elijah Tana? Who is he going to attract to come? Elijah Tana is just a name, but what has he really done in coaching in Zambian football? You look at the recycling that has gone on. So we break it down and say that, okay, yes, they were not allowed to sign players. Mwenyach people came in and used those players to their full potential, and they actually had a decent enough season. But fast forward, there's Elijah Tana. Before that, there's this guy. Before that, there's this guy. And the excuse of no one able to sign players, for me, was neither here nor there. Because either way, whenever they make signings, in the past, I'm talking about the recent past before the ban, there was no quality player that they signed. The team in itself, the exco in itself, are in disarray. They've been in disarray the last, 8-9 years. From the last time, they won that COVID league, which is also a suspect league, that, a transitional league where you can say, okay, yeah, we've given you the title. You can remember the controversy there. One time the game is played in dollar, one time it's changed, etc. So you look at that and say, okay, transitional league, will I really give you that? But on paper, you've won it. But literally, what did you do? Nothing special, So it's been a team that's, has just been left with the name. It's like a Kawe Warriors. They've become easily just like a Kawe Warriors. They're left with the name and all talk. They tend to forget that the former president himself had to bail them out, financial issues. They forget a lot of those things. So all they remember is the past, and they dwell so much on past glory. And you cannot run a club where, I understand as a fan you want to dwell on past glory, but you need to look at actually things that are happening to your club. It's poor management, poor signings. Yes, there was a ban, but even still, I've never seen in the last 5 years a NKANA player that could literally say, I'm going to take this guy's place in the national team. I'm going to take Fashion Sakala's place in the national team. I'm going to take Frankie Msonda's place in the national team. And frankly, Frankie Msonda has nothing special. There's a lot of Zambian defenders who are way better than him and things like that, and who've had the chance to go a little bit ahead of him. But now you look at NKANA and say, which player, and whenever it's one player that has maybe a decent season, the hype is there because of a fan base, a serious fan base that they have, that they'll hype this one player who's not even that great, is just okay. And, that changes the mindset of every Zambian to start saying, oh, that's a good player. That's a good player. But in reality, that player Niplanga is just hyped, and he had that one good season. So for me, that team needs to be overhauled overall. It needs to change from defense to midfield to attack to exco. The new president needs to come in with serious ideas. Elijah Tana, for me, is not a good start for them. I think they just confirmed his contract and things like that. It's not really a good start for them. I don't think he has the experience to manage a club of that caliber. And I'm not saying he's a terrible coach. I think people like Elijah Tana need to start at certain levels. I think he came into the Super League with one of the teams, and he was surviving relegation and things like that. So he's learning gradually. But to now be given a task like NKANA, I think he had the last few games he played. He had a couple of draws, win, draw, loss here and there. But will he sustain that? We saw it under Mwenyachipepo, where he came in and there was a serious resurgence in the team. But look at the next season, the team just dwindled and went down. So. I think they were going off a new manager bounce and things like that, but the quality of players still remain suspects. Even if they've signed 2 kids, are those kids quality? Should NKANA be rebuilding with kids, or should they be rebuilding with readily made players? Let me go and get this striker. Let me go and get Joshua Budomtale. Let me say, hey, bring him to the team. Let's work around Joshua Budomtale, or let's work around players that have already established themselves in Zambian football. These kids, it's a hit or miss. And for a big club to be in a situation where you're going to sign a hit or miss, it doesn't make sense. And for me, it's okay to sign the kids, bring them into the team, but readily made players are what you need. And when we say readily made players, I'm talking about younger readily made players, 25, 24, 23, 26. You don't go and get a 30-year-old readily made striker and expect him to do wonders. It's very difficult to play in the Zambia Super League. It's very difficult to score. But if you build a team it has enough experience and has played, the players have played well over time in different clubs, I think those are the players you go for. But the rate at which they're going, we are yet to see, because the transfer window is open. We're yet to see how they will move. But if they continue moving on trajectory where they don't bring at least 3 big names or 4 big names, or names that would actually help them in the midfield, help them at the back. I mean, you're dealing with Charles Zulu in the wing, and don't get me wrong, I'm a big fan of Charles Zulu, but literally for me, he has no competition at NKANA. So whoever they bring in needs to be someone who would be able to replace a Charles Zulu, who would be able to replace a Lazarus. And things like that. They need to bring in those quality players that are readily made. You are seeing Avier and things like that moving, to power. So if you are a big team, go and get those strikers that you feel have done. Go to, you claim you're the biggest team. Go to Red Arrows and get Kangwanda. Go tell them we want Kangwanda, and that should be your start to say we are now forming a team around these guys, Joshua, Kangwanda, and bring in all those big names. And I think Tana, they need to look at that decision, because if he loses the first 5, 6, 7 games, or has terrible results in the next games, they'll be looking at rebuilding again, because they are always in a hurry to say we are firing him. They always listen more to the fans than the decisions that they should be made in the boardroom to say, let's keep this coach, let's keep this coach. Because once the fans start crying for Beston Chambeshi to come back, you will see the EXCO making a decision to say Beston Chambeshi should come back. And we've seen it over the years where Beston's gone, he comes back, he's gone, he's come back, he's gone, he's come back. And Tana, for me, is just still doesn't have that experience enough to lead them to the promised land. And you have to ask the exco. I'm asking the exco today, what are your plans for the next season? Are you trying to make a CAF Champions League sport, or are you just trying to be like Nkwazi that are just in and around the league and surviving every season without any ambition? And that's the team they've become. They become a team with no ambition whatsoever. And, you know, kudos that the ban has been lifted. Now let's see what they can do with the ban being lifted. Otherwise, for me, I think they've got a good 5 years to get to a place where they can compete in Zambian football.
Okay, so that's Musman there, and of course, he has just given us his thoughts concerning NKANA's ban in terms of signing players has been lifted, and Elijah Tanner, of course, appointed as head coach for the coming season for NKANA Football Club, which is an interesting conversation. They were hunting or they were looking for a new coach, and they settled in for Elijah Tanner there. So this coming season, NKANA, or rather this transfer window, NKANA will be able to make those, of course, transfers as well. They'll be able to switch players this time around. Obedi Chembe, good to know that you are part of the show. And of course, you just hit us up with saying, good show. Cheers to you. And of course, thank you so much for finding time to type that message. You can always do the same, and we will be more than glad to hear from you as well. So, is it Chilu Axon? Good to know that you're part of the conversation as well. Kana is now a good, promising direction. Let me read that again. Kana is now in a good, promising direction. It's time to build the future. Results may not show now, but we are patient and in support of the EXCO. So proud to, so proud of the EXCO. Um, it's quite interesting, and how obviously NKANA faithful still believe in NKANA, and Musman just echoed his, of course, sentiments there. Let's bring in Aaron. Aaron, NKANA is ready to sign. I don't know if they are going to sign you. If they don't sign you, you can give them a player to sign, but NKANA will sign. Now, my question for you is, since NKANA is ready to sign, is it safe to say that NKANA will be a better version? What is this story of lifting the ban going to do to NKANA, and what should we anticipate in the coming season?
So yeah, thank you. I think the challenge with NKANA is the problems are not like one thing. There's a lot of problems around the club. For those that are closer to the club, they understand the problems. The financial muscle is not the same as Power Dynamos or these other clubs. They have so many challenges that they need to clear out. But I think the new exco, the CEO Masakapianga and company, I think what they're trying to do now is trying to plan long term with the youngsters. I think it's not an immediate success thing, and that's what I think Ghana fans need to remember. They are now trying to look to youngsters because Red Dream made available stars like they're very expensive. They demand huge sign-on fees, huge salaries, which in Ghana at the moment might not be able to afford. So they're trying to build with a youthful feel, trying to bring in all these youngsters. I heard most talk about Joshua Budomtari having gone where he's gone, having gotten the money he's gotten. I don't think Joshua will be able to go to Ghana at the moment, knowing what I know at the moment. I think Ghana cannot be able to afford the salary that I think Bodo wants at the moment and things like that. So those are the challenges. As big as Ghana is, they are not as financially influential as we think they are. So I think that's why the management are trying to look to all these youngsters who they can build with long term. And once you bring in all these youngsters, if they improve and go to a certain level, these are players you could be selling to Simbas, Sikukunes, and all these other clubs to bring in more money to your club. So I think that's where they're trying to go, the way they're going with youngsters who have come through all these top academies like Atletico Lusaka and the like. So I think it will be a bit of a laugh I think for me, I'm giving them 3 years to properly rebuild, because you don't expect. Yes, of course, there are some youngsters who are very special. Maybe all of them will hit off the gate the first season, but I don't think so, because the Super League is a bit of a step higher, so they need to acclimatize, adapt, and know the the environment of what it takes to play in the Super League. And remember, they're going to NKANA, a team with, I think, the biggest pressure in the Super League. So it's going to take a bit of time, but I understand what NKANA are trying to do given their current budget. So I think for me, it's fine, so that they don't land them. Because remember, what landed them in the problems they're in now is, in the last 5-6 years, NKANA have been taken to FIFA more than any club that I know, because I saw a report where they were talking about a certain player that took them to FIFA, I think in 2023. That's not the issue they were banned for right now. I saw everybody was using that. That's a different issue. It's other players, 3 of them. Musa Lemisa, there is that defender from Cameroon who never even played the game, who played in the IRH Mopani thing from Cameroon, I think last year. He never played the game. And David Kabala, who's been long gone. Those are the 3 that landed him into these problems now. But at the moment, they still need to clear off some of the monies they could owe 1 or 2 players. So they are not yet out of the troubles per se. So I think I understand the vision that the new executive and the CEO are trying to go with. I think it's better to be safe than sorry, because at the end of the day, as big as NKANA is, once you get the transfer ban, there's nothing you can do. So I think I understand what they're trying to do.
Okay, so that's Aaron Mobanga, and of course, sharing his thoughts concerning NKANA and how the ban is going to affect, or rather, the lifting of the ban is going to affect in terms of NKANA. Now, he just brought up something interesting. Football, being football, is a sport that needs to be handled with very, very sober mind, especially in the rules themselves. So what is playing around is in both ends. Sign players and be able to fulfill their agreements. And if you sign players and you fail to fulfill agreement, it's another issue to FIFA. Sometimes sign coaches, be able to pay them. If you don't pay them, it's another issue to FIFA. So I think the lifting of the ban is a good call for NKANA. And at the same time, it is NKANA to understand what it should do for them at the moment in a critical time when the resources are very minimal for them. They need to utilize it to a fullest where it's going to work in their strategies, it's going to work in their plan and in their vision for the coming years at a time when they are limping. They cannot afford it once again to be banned because they have signed a player and they have failed to pay a player, they have failed to pay coaches, they have failed to fulfill contractual obligations in time for that particular player, because they'll be taken to FIFA, and they should be able to understand what type of players they are signing at that particular time. And this should go down to each and every club, especially where Zambian football is concerned. So let's wait and see what will happen with the ban lifted and new coaches brought or maybe announced, Elijah Turner as the head coach, how it's going to affect them in the coming season. So that's Elijah Turner, former Zambia international, former Zambia captain, and now
Yeah, I'm getting to get you.
Pardon? Okay, so that's the NKANA coach now. That's Elijah Turner, former Zambia international, Zambia national soccer team captain. He is in charge and announced that he is going to be in charge of NKANA Football Club as a head coach for the coming season and many other seasons if he succeeds at one of the influential Zambian football club. Shadrach chosen Changwe. Good to know that you are part of the Get Up Show. We welcome you to the Get Up Show once again. NKANA FC just needed two big strikers who will score more than 30 goals, and we need a good goalkeeper. Football has changed. It's now about young players. We need energy. Energy levels of young players is different between young and old players. We will be fine with young players. We don't need old, tired players. You people, you criticize us the time we had if Kote, now we are going for young players. Now you are saying that we are not doing well. Just wait and see how we will play in the coming season. Thank you so much. I like your passion for the team. I like how you are coming out from Ghana, and I like how obviously you are looking at things and what needs to be done at Nkana. But one most important thing is to be able to do things correctly, and any other team will still succeed by the end of the day. Let's bring in Milias before we talk to Mr. Mbewe over this issue concerning the ban that has been lifted from Ghana as well. He can go ahead and touch on Elijah Turner and his team that has been placed as the ones to take care of the technicalities at Nkana in the coming season, and of course many other seasons to come if they succeed. Milias, the ban lifted. How will this affect or affect the dealings at Nkana? Is it a positive move or it's a blessing in disguise for Nkana?
All right, thanks, Moses. For starters, I must say it's a blessing. They really struggled over the years. Um, the ban really did them, but they couldn't bring in new players. So it's a blessing for them. And actually, I must say they've done well under the conditions. They've really done well because at some point we thought maybe they would even be relegated, but I mean that didn't come. So looking at the conditions, having a ban, they really did well. Last season they even did well, better than teams like Zanaco. Zanaco was busy fighting relegation, and yet they could sign players. But Fonkana
Milias,
with their ban,
Milias, why didn't you pick Green Eagles or Musa?
no, Musa fighting relegation. No, 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 no. Musa is no. Musa hasn't fought for relegation. Yeah,
You
Green
can
Eagles
carry
as
on.
well. I could
We
use
can,
Green Eagles as an example. Yeah,
we,
but
we
well,
can
Green
we
Eagles
can
picked
carry
up.
on. We are safe. I was thinking of Musman. We are safe. We can carry on.
No, but Zanaco last season, honestly speaking, even Musman knows they survived because Atletico Lusaka just grew cold feet in the last 10 minutes of the game they played against Zesco United. If they draw anything, Zanaco would have been playing National League. Um, Zanaco would have played the National League last season. So yeah, they didn't do well. But from Ghana, they really did well looking at the conditions they were in. They fought, they didn't fight relegation. So kudos to them. Um, yeah, coming to the ban, I'm happy it has been lifted. Uh, I'm very happy. Now we could see them bringing players, sign good players, bringing young blood, and the like. So it's good for them. Coming to the coach, Elijah Turner. I don't know. I don't think it's a good decision. I honestly feel they would have done better. If I was Exco, I wasn't going to bring in Turner. I would have kept him as an assistant coach and get someone else with more experience and proven results. But yeah, here we are. Turner appointed as coach. Probably the Exco has seen something that I haven't. So let's wait and see. Coming to the signings, kudos to the Exco that they've gone for the young ones. They don't have the money per se, so it's cheaper to get these young players. And I think what this would do is these issues of players taking them to FIFA, failing to honor contracts and the like won't be there, because I think they're not paying the young players as much. They're not paying them big monies. So it's a good thing they've gone in that direction. And apart from that, Moses, football nowadays is gravitating more towards the young ones. You should see teams that have got youngsters. Most of the teams are doing well. So I'm glad that NKANA is building a project towards that direction. And lastly, another development that maybe we didn't talk about is that they've got a new exco. Last week they ushered in a new exco, so that means new ideas and everything. So there's a lot happening at NKANA. But the only problem I have with the exco is my engineer of Piva Park could engineer Brian, could engineer Shani, and I think that's a problem. I think sometimes let football be run by people who've got football brains. I've got an engineering background. I do a lot of engineering, and for us, Moses, we our mentality is to fix problems. You bring me a problem, I'll find an easy way of fixing it. Pa, 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 pa. It works. I just want to see it work. We don't really do well in building long-term projects because ours is just results. But if you're going to bring in someone with I would say project management skills, business skills with a football brand, they'll build a big project. They'll build a project and like just trying to fix a, things easily. A good example is Power Dynamos. Look at their exco, look at their So I think this thing of having a lot of engineers in the exco is not good. So I think also NKANA has to look at that administratively. Let them have a lot of football brains, like the way they did with Sagapianga, which is a good thing. But again, they should bring in a lot of people with football brains if they are to um, build and have a good project. But in conclusion, I'm happy that their ban has been lifted. I'm happy that they've brought in a lot of players. And lastly, they've lost a number of good players. Idris Mbombo is going. His contract came to an end. So hopefully,
akota huyo.
yeah, akota. I'm hoping it won't be a problem. But another one to note is Patrick Joma, their goalkeeper. I think Patrick did well for them. So hopefully they get a good, replacement for him. Diego as well. So they've lost 5 good players, and let's see what happens going forward. My contribution.
Thank you so much, Milius. I can see King is just around, and of course, is part of the Get Up Show team. And if you are just joining in, welcome on board, sharing great insights, thoughts, and of course, conversations relating to Zambian football. The whole team is all here. What you are seeing right about now is expiring contracts, especially with NKANA players there. Diego Apanene and Joe Wallace Banda and Idris Mbombo. Loan spells concluded. Patrick Yoma and of course Francis Zulu. This is quite interesting, especially for NKANA. These were some of the players that were really active for them, especially for the season. Tutu is still around or is not? We get a note
Nilipo,
of
nilipo.
Tutu. Tutu, NKANA are in the news. Before we bring on King as well as Mr. Mbewe as well on this same issue concerning NKANA, I know every NKANA fan is waiting to hear what Mr. Mbewe is going to say as well. Now, Eustace Mangala Jr. says NKANA fans must be patient with coach Dunga. Honestly, I don't know if I don't NKANA challenging for the league next season. I think this should be, I don't see NKANA challenging for the league next season, but I see them becoming more stable. The rebuild will take time. There is no quick fix to their problems. They will have to get in more young players and try to balance with a few experienced players now that the ban has been lifted. All the best to them. Nchanga Rangers fan. Wow, this is quite interesting. It's all coming in from a Nchanga Rangers fan, extended to obviously NKANA. This is some love and passion for football, especially as Zambian football is concerned. Eustace, we thank you. And of course, it's great to know that you are locked and packed, especially where the Get Up Show is concerned. And you can do the same wherever you are, you, and we'll be more than glad to hear from you. We'll read your message loud right here on the Get Up Show, and the whole team will be able to share your experience, share your thoughts as well. And you are going to be part of the conversations today, right on the Get Up Show. Let's bring in Tutu and hear what Tutu has to say. Tutu, the ban for NKANA not to sign players was attributed to many other relatable issues that were taken to FIFA, and the ban has been lifted. The technical bench has been put in place. The EXCO has been realigned. What is your thought around NKANA?
This is good news for NKANA. You see, we all want a competitive NKANA. When NKANA is limping, bora simawama. Timafuna NKANA to be competitive. And looking at the NKANA of last season, because of the ban, they ended up having players like Kambole, Clement Mwape, Diego Apanani, Idris Mbombo, Jacob Bongurube. This team was aging, guys. Enzena Kota team. Throw in a Ronald Sate Kampamba in that squad. So the lifting of the ban is very good, and I like the direction which Mwansaka Pianga has taken. It seems that they are rebuild. They're in the rebuilding phase, because looking at the signings, they've brought in Bubu, they've brought in Abel, they've brought in Jackson, they've brought in these exciting youngsters. So it shows that the team wants to rebuild, and that's what NKANA needed. That team needed energy, and I think these youngsters that they have brought, they're going to bring back the energy to the team, because the previous team, it lacked pace, it lacked energy. Players 3/4 of players were old, so they needed a rebuild. And looking at their financial status, I think this is the best way to go, because my problems NKANA is because of issues to do with signing and overspending. Now that they are going for the youngsters, it shows that they have got a long-term plan. My only concern is I doubt if Coach Tana is not that he's a bad coach. No. Take away nothing from Tana. Tana, legendary player, is a good coach. But coaches sometimes maybe areas of specialization. I feel like this direction which NKANA they have taken, they needed someone like former FC Muza coach like Elame Kibanda. You need somebody like Chris Kaunda, Mr. Tikitako. These coaches who have worked maningi na bafana, because when you are rebuilding and you're working with youngsters, you need to understand the youngsters. Youngsters, you need to know how to handle them. They come with mistakes, and I hope not only party coach, I hope na mafans bachita understand the direction NKANA they have taken, because when you are rebuilding, it takes time. I'll give an example. Sorry to give an example of maybe a European team. Let's say Arsenal. When Arsenal brought in Ateta, they had a long-term project, and the fans were patient with him. Pangono, he kept building until now we are seeing the results. So I wish Naveve NKANA, I know NKANA fans, they are so passionate about their club, but all I can pray is that I hope they'll be patient with these youngsters, because these youngsters have brought already, these are exceptional youngsters. We all know what Bubu can do. We know what Bubu is capable of. We know what Abel does on the pitch. Jackson was outstanding at Warriors. So these are youngsters who are promising. But mistakes. So they need to understand that building takes time, and hopefully they'll be patient with Coach Tana, because like one of their fan posted comment here now, yes, it's true. I don't think Ghana can win the league next season. No. For now, they have to stabilize the team. Once the team goes stable, maybe the other season, then they can start now pushing now for challenging the title. But the lifting of the ban to me is a very welcome move, and I hope lessons have been learned. We don't want NKANA again to go back into the same position they were. Kumbuya kwatikambira timanje punch akachite hype Congolese player, and then they are going to splash money on that guy. At the end of the day, they will wakakango kumulipira, and then the guy drags them to FIFA. They have been dragged to FIFA so many times, and I hope they have learned their lesson. And this direction that Mwansa Kapianga has taken, and the entire NKANA Exco and family, it's a very good direction. I can't wait to see them play. But lifting up Banyeve, it's a very good move, and I wish NKANA all the best in the coming seasons, because it's the biggest club in Zambia. You can't take away that. So when NKANA is limping, no one wants to beat NKANA that is struggling. Every team wants to beat NKANA, which ilipa peak, and hope season there will be a stable team. So lifting of the ban is a welcome move. I hope lessons were learned, and going forward, the direction you are taking here, rejuvenating the team. I hope they'll be patient with the coach and with the players, so that they achieve whatever they are trying to do. That's my take.
Okay, thank you so much, Tutu there. And of course, the Get Up Show, we are on the conversations to do with NKANA. The ban has been lifted. They will be able to sign players for the coming season. Elijah Turner, of course, head coach Joshua Tinkoma, assistant coach Donashano Malama as well, is roped in terms of the technical bench. New developments around the Exco realigned for the year 2026-2027 season. Rather, it will be 2026 transitional league before we hit 2027. So that will be a huge test for NKANA, and of course, young players being roped in as well at NKANA. We do have King. Let's hear King before we bring in Mr. Mbewe, and of course, just to hear his thoughts concerning the topic that we have at the moment. King, are you able to get me? If at all you are, welcome to the Get Up Show. King, are you there? It's all quiet. Let's bring you in, Mr. Mbewe. This is a whole lot of conversation for you and the NKANA fans. I know they are waiting for you. What is your thought around the lifting of the ban? Elijah Turner as coach, assisted by, of course, Joshua Tinkoma, and their realignment in terms of the Exco. What is your thought, Mr. Mbewe? Mr. Mbewe.
Buzan has dropped.
Okay. What about King?
Kings has dropped as well.
My bundles were still
Buy more bundles. Today, why are they dropping? Okay.
Network has been poor in Zambia of late. Vayati owatie na zamte granko nze.
This morning, you're bad. But anyway, the conversation continues. With all said and of course shared on NKANA Football Club, the question is: does this bring any improvement? Who has joined us?
Kings are joined.
King, welcome to the Get Up Show. King, welcome to the Get Up Show.
Our Agua again is dropped again. Network yake vote.
Okay,
network.
we apologize.
Okay, he's back again. One last chance.
we try one last chance, and of course, we do apologize for the network. Today, we're experiencing some terrible network, so we're having some challenges in various parts of course, Lusaka, Copperbelt, and many other areas where our team is. We are having it all good with Musman. He's in South Africa. Today we have not been joined in by Jones right in the UK. So that's, of course, Musman or in Zanaco. I was wondering when we started the show if at all we'll see any Zanaco badge. But thankfully, it was all obviously a cloud on him, and he's in the Zanaco. So that's Musman there. King, are you able to get me?
No,
So
I'm here.
Okay, Musman is the one who's on the screen, and of course, King he has run away, and he has run away. So, anyways,
I'm here.
King, you have most heard obviously the NKANA issue that the ban was lifted. They are able to sign players by the end of the day, and a message just pops up right now. Shadrach Chosen, who is saying, I'm waiting for Bwezani. So, Bwezani, wherever you are right now, you should rush back to the Get Up Show so that you should be able to respond to this. I know a whole lot of NKANA faithfuls are waiting for you so that you can be able to at least shed your thoughts concerning NKANA's ban lifting. I know how NKANA fans are feeling and what has been coming from Bwezani. So they are waiting to hear what Bwezani is going to say. But King, kindly share your thoughts on the NKANA issue. Elijah Tada is coach. The EXCO has been realigned and the ban has been lifted. They'll be able to sign players this coming transfer window.
Yeah, for me, so far at NKANA. Oh, and good morning to everyone. Yes, that's Aaron and the right, and the man who supports a fake crap there. For me, right now NKANA doesn't have money, so going for the young ones who are not going to give them pressure in terms of payments and everything, it's the right thing to do. Sometimes in life you have to adjust according to your finances. So I think it's the right thing, but I'm not saying because they've gotten the young ones, they shouldn't pay them also. So, but what I'm saying is maybe the salary ranges will be a bit better than going to get a player in Congo there who will just chew their money like Waterbury and the likes. So, this issue also in Zambian football, it's becoming a disease. It's not only in NKANA. How many? Let's check the last 15 years. Let's start from 2010 up to now. How many teams have had bans in terms of because of not paying players and everything? Last year we had Inden, which just had this ban lifted. This year is in NKANA. For me, as Zambian clubs, we can do better, and it's good that in NKANA they have come to realization to say, okay, they're having problems. Me, I'll tell you to say, I think I feel bad to see how NKANA supporters are vocal for nothing, because these are people who are not helping the club. NKANA has a base that can help the club to bail out the team out of whatever they are going through, the financial struggles. You can't be boasting you've got over 300 supporters. Who can, if tell me why, if they can just have even the 100,000 supporters who can subscribe 100 kwacha per month, that would be almost 10 million per month that NKANA will generate, and they'll have over 120 million in a year. A minimum of 100 supporters from the 300 supporters base which they are boasting. So for me, I feel these NKANA supporters who are just talkative and noise and everything, sometimes this is why Musman says it's a bit nonsensical to have such fans, such large base of fans who cannot even help this the team and everything to blow them out of the pro. Right now, NKANA's problems is finances. There is nothing more. There is nothing less about it. It's finances. They need extra sponsorship. They need. I'll give you an example to say also Zambian teams should do better. I remember I was the MC the time NKANA was doing a signing of their deal with Max Insurance. Max Insurance came with their own replicas. Can you tell me why the whole lot of NKANA would go to sign a deal of sponsorship without a single replica or single thing that is symbolizes NKANA? Not even a scarf, not even a cape, without a single replica. And you are signing a deal, and these are your sponsors and potential supporters that you are winning here. And you go to sign a deal. You know, certain things also clubs needs to, let's hope with the involvement of the new CEO, we'll see the next, because this is a season we are really going to judge his leadership going forward. So far, kudos that they've negotiated out the transfer ban. Let's see going forward how NKANA is going to perform. Let's see for how NKANA things. But at the moment, NKANA is a mess. And right now, my worry is, in as much as we might talk of NKANA being a mess, I think a lot of Zambian clubs are in a mess right now. We need people with football mind, as Mirias have said. We need people who are business minded. We need people who have a vision for these clubs. So for me, it's a shame and it's heartbreaking to see that our biggest club, such things are happening. So the signing of these 3 young players, I think it's a right thing to do. Not because this is the right material for NKANA as a standard, but for now, because that's what you can afford at that particular time. So this is what NKANA can afford at this particular time. This is what NKANA can manage to pay. And this is maybe reducing the costs so that they meet the standards that are needed. So it's a right way to build from here. And also, I feel the NKANA Expo should involve properly with, should engage properly with the fans. NKANA has a fan base that can build them a proper stadium. NKANA has a fan base that can buy them quality players. NKANA has a fan base that can help them become a dream team they've ever dreamt of. So I think it's a high time football we learn something from Tanzania. Look at over the years how they have learned to engage and benefit from the fans. Not Tikazuona, these are the top signings for NKANA. Like seriously, the whole lot of NKANA. And you want to call this as a top signing? It's embarrassing to some ways anyway. Not because the boys are bad, they are good to fuse into a team that is already moving, but not to bring them as players who need to move the team. Those are two different dimensions in football. So already Evaristo was saying no, Mbombo has grown. But if you check, literally Mbombo, their best player the last 2 seasons. So that should tell you to say you can say to them all is God, to a point where they had to bring back from retirement Sate. So the standards of NKANA has gone low, and we expect so high of them. And it's good that we've got royal supporters who have started in a good and bad season. So for me, are these players the standard for NKANA? The answer no. But is it a good deal? Yes, because that's what NKANA can manage right now. And let them stop lying to themselves to say they are a big team on paper. In terms of fan base, I always even tell this Anako man who, this Power Dynamos guy who says NKANA is a small club. To say NKANA in terms of fan base and everything, it's the biggest club Zambia has. But are they living up to that branding, up to that image? Currently, no. Currently, they are living as a relegated bound team, a low league team. So a lot needs to change at NKANA, Moses. Thank you.
Thank you so much, King. That's King, and of course, the Get Up Show. It is discussing around NKANA. The ban has been lifted, and of course, there is a lot of changes that have come by, and the new technical bench will be led by Elijah Turner, and of course, assisted by Josephat Nkoma there, and Donashano Malama will be right on the technical bench. So this is what is happening, especially where Zambian football is concerned. I don't know if Bwezani has joined us, Milias.
Yeah, he's here.
Yes,
Bwezani, we lost you, and someone was saying that you should buy enough bundles.
Yeah, I have bundles. Medias is the one who sends bundles to those that don't have. He sent to me already, so I have.
But thanks for, yeah.
Anyway, good that you are back. Shadrick Chosen Changwe is waiting for you, and many other NKANA fans, they are waiting for you, so that you can be able to respond to what is happening to NKANA. The ban has been lifted. Elijah Turner is the new head coach to lead the technical bench for the transitional league and maybe for the coming season as well. And of course, the EXCO has been realigned. So these are some of the developments at NKANA. But our peak point is the ban has been lifted. They'll be able to sign players this coming season. Your take and your reaction, how will this affect their, of course, performance?
So I've been looking for a CEO that will get into NKANA and change the way things are, because for a long time, NKANA has been pretending to be financially stable, getting players that they may actually fail to pay. And I just like the approach of Mwanzaka Pyanga, top-notch approach. You understand? First of all, no matter how the criticism, let's lower our expectations and be ourselves for now. We needed this. NKANA gets close to $1 million every month from their sponsor. Okay, that $1 million is not even equal to their wage bill. So you need to understand this part. Firstly, they need to settle down, because it is actually very difficult at the moment to get sponsors. You understand? Because every drain will just disappear. This is a club that is owed a lot of money to players, to vendors, everything. You understand what I mean? So we needed a sane person. We needed someone like Mwanzaka Pyanga to come down and lower those expectations. Okay, this is not the time for CAF Champions League, for CAF Confederations. It's a time to settle. And yes, the ban has been lifted. Kudos to them. I heard Aaron was talking about why we got onto this ban. That was spot on. That's the reason. You understand? But then, how do we move away from that? It is exactly what they've done. Get young, exciting, and interesting players that are going to keep the team on float. You wouldn't want this team to get relegated. You understand what I mean? So if you look at the signings that they are doing right now, rush to get these three players, you realize that everyone would want to have such type of players at NKANA. It's not forever. It's a period of settling. We needed that for NKANA to believe. Actually, if they didn't manage to go get some of these players, Ghana was supposed to just go to that NKANA academy, get the players that are going to manage this transition of settling bills. They need to clear that because this team is big. The previous speaker in Kings was saying the NKANA fans, can you do this? The NKANA fans are one of the poorest fans in the world. Okay? And
that's why they almost that's why they banned you, Bwezani. What do you mean they're the poorest?
Mr.
That's one thing that
Mr. Mbewe, please.
No.
Can you retract that word, sir? Poorest. Find a favorable word.
I
do what?
You should retract it. Put it off. Find a favorable word for the NKANA fans.
Which one?
You said poorest fans.
Maybe
It's
nonsensical.
true. I'm not retracting. No. Look, guys.
You can carry on.
Guys, you told me to speak.
He's right.
Yes.
No.
Let
I have.
speak.
Thank you. I have facts to this. To this, and this is what has been misleading a lot of NKANA fans. You understand? Right. So, because of the biggest number of fan base that they have, there was actually a project last season to make close to is it 30 billion or 30 million kwacha? Yes, you know they only managed a very little amount of that, a drop in the ocean. You understand? It tells you when we talk about the biggest fan base, no one is going to argue. But when we want are going to help the team at the team, can we manage to buy players? It's not possible. You understand? It's not. Okay? It's not. And it sounds a mockery. It's not. But this is the reality of life. Okay? Most of the fans that you expect to be pushing are Kitwe. Look at the employment basis in Kitwe. You realize what I'm talking about. Okay? They do not work. Okay, very few are actually in employment that they can actually get something from them. There are very few NKANA fans who are in stable jobs. You understand? The huge number, yes, we can say yes. But then the exco should not expect this fan base to take away most of the responsibilities. That is not happening under this sun. It is not. What I mean is that the exco has to get out of that comfort zone. They will seriously need to start looking at investments that can make that team run. To rely on funds, it's a non-starter. It won't work. Okay, it won't work. So I like the push now for sustainable ways that Mwasaka Pyanga is putting into this project. It is. You may say it is lessening the magnitude of NKANA. No, it is actually stabilizing. They will need that. It is not easy, for a team like NKANA to decide to let go of Idris Mbombo. It is not. But if they are looking at the wage bill, how much are they paying Idris? Because the salary of Idris is actually equal to maybe 3 or 4 of these type of players that we have put up. You understand? So that is what they are doing to reduce so that they spend and they are able to actually sustain the team. You understand? And if you get exciting players like this, you know for sure that the team is not going to go down. That is one part. But then, if you are NKANA CEO, you cannot run on that trajectory for a long time. Mwansaka Pyanga has to put a strategic plan that is going to help this team run away quickly from these stability measures. You have to make sure that he gives a period of maybe 2 seasons of struggle, then look at the third season to say, in the third season, we should again start competing for titles. Because right now, if any NKANA fans are dreaming of league champions, are dreaming of CAF, wake up. That's a dream. You need to wake up. It's not possible for right now for NKANA to compete. You have kept Elijah Turner. People say it is strategic. No, the team is broke. You understand what I mean? So you need to understand why they have this technical bench, which understands the challenges that are there. 1-2 seasons, as long as the team does not get relegated, then come back stronger. Those are my views, and I'm not apologizing for anything.
Thank you, Mr. Mbewe.
Forest fan base.
Thank you, Mr. Mbewe.
Swakamumushe bantu.
NKANA vapina. Poor sounds much in English. When you translate that in Chivemba, you tell them what muri vapina vankana.
Please, don't take it the way you are seeing it. Mr. Mbewe is just making an emphasis to something that matters the most to NKANA. NKANA needs to understand their situation. They need to understand their position. And in any way, a fan is a stakeholder. So how much are fans contributing even to the debts that they have at the moment? So they need to find sustainable measures that are going to allow them to at least move forward. Mr. Mbewe, thank you so much. Let's look at the comments that we have.
The moderator is saying that, we need to understand that the fans are poor and they cannot support the team.
The word poor.
And we need to understand that they are peasant farmers.
Please, the word poor should be not taken out of proportion and out of context. What is trying to put across is that the fans are not in the capacity to contribute more to the club, more than what is needed at the moment. Henceforth, if you were to check the dictionary, the easiest word to explain that is the word known as poor. So it has no in any way and in any measure found infringing or in any way insulting to anyone, unless if you carry it otherwise. Please, let's move on. We have a message coming in from Lucky. First of all, in terms of the ZPL, I expect them to lobby for more sponsors, especially in TV broadcast, prize money, because teams spend a lot of money in player transfer, matches, days, etc. There is no way after 60 years as a country we can have a ZPL champion get $40,000 as a winner. NKANA fans and everyone at NKANA needs to adjust their expectations, and I think they needed a coach that has worked with youngsters like Lamek Banda. So thank you so much for coming through, and of course we appreciate. And this is the Get Up Show, where great conversations like the one we had, obviously every Saturday, talked and of course deliberated upon. So voices raised, obviously. Anyone who wants to conclude on this matter so that we move on? Time is not the best friend at the moment. we still maybe have one or two echoes around the playoffs that are just around the corner. Anyone? It's quiet. We take it.
There's something
this
I'm
matter.
trying to download.
Okay.
Are you getting me?
Yes, I'm able
There's
to get
something
you.
I want to download.
Are you able to get
Yeah,
me?
there's something I want to.
Okay, are you able to get me though?
Ukamba tani we Moses. We're able to get you.
We can get you, Moses. We can get you.
Nikamba
Even you,
Mambewe,
boys, we can get you.
Moses, I think we can,
I'm
I think we
asking
can move and then come back to Bwezani. So for the sake of time,
let us move for the sake of time on the issue of composition. On the issue of composition of the NKANA Expo, I think it will be unfair to judge them on the basis of having too many engineers. Someone talked about engineers. Here's your message, and that engineers are not focused on long-term solutions. I think it will just be fair to give them some time and see how they are going to perform. As an example, as Changa Rangers, our exco is currently being headed by an engineer. Visit Nchanga Stadium today, you will tell from the way the pitch is looking to the changes around the pitch and the head. Is it you, Milias, who talked about engineers?
yeah.
You
And
first obviously
I
have
get
reacted back with a message.
yeah, and I
So
get Sister's point. I mean, it's
yeah,
his point. It's valid. But again, my comparison always be power dynamos to these clubs that are run by engineers. I mean, but we can move. Moses.
okay, let's move. The playoffs around the corner, gentlemen. That marks some, of course, interesting conversations around Zambian football and how teams get to join the National Division One. We know already how the format will be for the transitional league, so it's quite interesting. I think,
are you seeing what I've posted?
yeah, this is what you were talking about. So NKANA fans raised 42,000 kwacha from 30 million kwacha target for the 2025-2026 season. Are we gentlemen justifying that Bwezani, by virtue of using the word poor, was within his rights? Anyone? There we
Yeah,
have it.
and this is what I'm saying. At the start of the season, the fans club exco sat down and said we need to contribute and raise 30 million kwacha targeted for the 2025 to 2026 season. At the end of this, they raised this for 2,000 kwacha. You understand? And for 2,000 kwacha is a salary of one player, Idris Ilungambombo. You understand? And this is the reason people should start understanding the current situation where Kings is calling on these funds that raise 42,000 kwacha to start paying the club, to start buying players. You understand? You are giving a big responsibility to people that are actually failing to raise their own target. You see? So, and because people only look at the number, the huge stadium packed, that's not the reality. Down to reality, you find there are actually very few people that are actually paying. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mbewe. We, of course, can move the National Division 1 playoffs 2026. Obviously, that's what we are seeing, and that's the conversation that we should be ending with today in terms of the Get Up Show. Let's just run with you, Aaron. Hopefully, you're seeing what is on the screen right now. Namfundo
Yes, yes.
Youth Academy, Forest Mioye.
Moses,
Hello?
sorry, not to cut you. Anyway, with your guidance, maybe I'm asking Bwezani goes first because he's the one who came up with the tape. So maybe he speaks into so that just people get the understanding of what's on the ground and how teams will qualify
Okay. All right. Okay.
Because
Thank
the
you.
format has changed now. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I think that even makes it carries more weight. Let's bring Bwezani back. Bwezani, you should
Thank
have
you.
some thorough mathematical knowledge to what we are seeing at the moment on the screen.
No,
The teams are there. Uh-huh.
I love mathematics. I can show you my grade 12 results. Uh, I, I did I did better than Julius.
Sir, I
He,
did say you
he,
should
he
I
get
won't say
wrote grade
anything.
12
Because
last
I
year.
won't say anything.
sir,
He
I
wrote
did
grade 12 maths last year.
Pache, Mario Moses.
Okay,
So
Pacheco.
no. You know, I did watch the playoffs draws, and a very big disappointment to the association. You understand? I don't know whose mic is on. When you come to the playoffs, you need to be distinct and state how the qualification is going to be. You don't do draws and keep quiet. People need to go home and they are aware to say this is the way they are qualifying. Some of us are to get this information now deep into the. This is information that is supposed to be very public. Now there are two groups, as stated on this, and what is going to happen? The criteria is, each group, two teams from each group qualifies to the national division. That's the tradition. Okay. But now, because there was a change in the 20 teams, you find that there are 6 slots that are needed to be filled in the National Division 1 for the transitional season to make 20. Okay. So the first suggestion, which some of us said, no, this is wrong. The first suggestion was that 6 teams from the playoffs are going to qualify automatic. That is 2 teams and the best 2 teams. Okay. But then some of us reminded the Football Association of Zambia on how Chipata United qualified to national division. Okay. Remember, there was Livingstone Pirates at that point. So they looked at the best team relegated from the national division, which was Livingstone Pirates. And then they went to the best teams, those that finished better than the top 4, which was Chipata United. That game was at Edwin Imboela Stadium, and Chipata United beat Livingstone Pirates on penalty shootouts. I was on that stadium that I think Aaron was also there when the coach for Chipata United was actually crying on the pitch after qualifying. This is what some of us reminded people to say, in this case, you can't keep changing formats. You understand? So luckily, I think they finally got it. So what is going to happen is that 4 teams qualify automatic, 2 from each group. Then the 5th team is going to be the best 5th ranked team when you combine the 2 groups. Okay, which team is 5th among the 10 teams? That team is also going to join the 4 teams to make 5. And then we are going to remain with 1 slot. Now, for the last slot, you go to the National Division League standing at the end of the season, which is better relegated. You realize that there's only 1 team because Mpulungu Haba has disappeared into thin air. So you find a team, River Plate, there. So when you find River Plate, you go back to the playoffs, and the 6th ranked best team is going to go for a one-off playoff against River Plate, and the winner is going to qualify. This gives an opportunity for River Plate again to try to remain in the national division, okay, or get demoted completely. The last time Livingstone Pirates was given an opportunity, they failed to use it. Why is this important? And because before people saying we are campaigning for River Plate, National Division is a 2nd-tier football club, club football, in the country. You just don't jump into there. You need to be tested. So the playoffs, the top 4 playing full-time 5 games in the, is it 4 or 5 games in 1 week? It's already a test. So the 2 teams, the top 2 make it. Luckily, they are pushing even for the 5th team to qualify. You finish number 6 in a playoff and you want to be very confident that you are going to just jump into the national division, you seriously need to be tested. So you are given an opportunity to play a team that was relegated, already felt what the national division feels like. If you win, you make it. If you don't, you go back to province and River Plate gets the slot. So that is the way the qualification to national division from the playoffs is going to be.
Well explained, Mr. Mbewe there. As we can see on the screen, those are the teams, and some of the teams are very familiar. When you talk about Nakonde, let me say we have Mpulungu, rather Mpande Youth Academy, Forest Mioye, Barose Clocks, Solwezi Mshitala played forward. And of course, Group B, we have Zambezi Portland Cement, Rio Nakonde, Matkat, Nampundu FC, and Mika there. So Mr. Mbewe has explained on how things are going to be. Gentlemen, as time is not our best friend, I'll just need your little comments on this. Let's start with you, Musman. What is your thought around what Mr. Mbeo has explained as well? And River Plate obviously still standing a chance to play National Division 1.
Well, look, it's a transitional period, and I think the format is just right for me. I've got nothing much that I would really add on. I think just to wish the teams the best. There's a few teams in there that have, I can recall Real Nakonde being part of the Zambia Super League. So, those are teams that, I would love to see come back. Mpande Youth Academy as well have been trying for years. Forest Maye, they've also been there. So for me, the format is fine. We're going into a transitional period and we're having 20 teams. So at the end of the day, let that format be. I've got no qualms with it. The only issue is I'll have to ask Real Nakonde to rethink their logo. I don't know why there's a banana there. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Musman. Let's bring in Aaron. Aaron, in the earliest, I wanted to bring you in on this. Your thoughts and just summation on the playoffs.
Well, I think, like Bazana said, I think our biggest challenge, that's why I still do not agree with this expansion of adding more average teams to our league. That was a waste of our time. And so whoever feels upset can get upset. We wasted our time on that nonsense.
I agree.
Like Bazana said, we need to test the teams coming in. That's why we end up with teams who go the whole season winning one game or two games. There is no need for all of that. So them, if they can't beat a team that was relegated, then I don't think they should be playing in the National League. So and at the end of the day, first when all these teams qualified before the extension, everybody thought it's the top four, right? So this extension, it's just an added NKANA slot. So nobody should even be feeling some type of way. So it's I think it's a good thing that has done, because you're also giving an opportunity to a team that did from those two. So they should, I think the only thing that's they should be done between when they finish the playoffs for them to prepare. Both sides are more qualifying because it trickles down to the province. For the women's, I think Group A for the women is like the most competitive group. Power are saying their team is very good, but they'll be tested. They're going up against Green Buffaloes. Those girls, ish. I think that's the most competitive. The other side is a bit easy. I think Ndeko could be the
I'm seeing mad missed calls from Chivo.
Okay, so
Is it just me or we've lost Aaron?
yeah, we've lost Aaron. You can come in, Milius.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Moses. Yeah, for starters, I must reaffirm Aaron's comment. Saying adding extra teams to our league was a waste of time. I mean, quality is already compromised, and then we add on extra teams. I honestly think that was unnecessary. The expansion wasn't necessary. What we needed to do was improve on the quality of the teams we have in the league, um, improve on the quality, and see how best we can move forward. But if we are going to get 6 teams or 5 teams from the provinces, you know, probably 5 teams that are not even ready. I mean, it raises another concern. Plus, so yeah, expansion wasn't necessary. Coming to the format, I honestly don't think I've got a problem. I think it was well thought, and let the best team qualify. You know, but if I can look at the teams, these games are going to be interesting, Moses. I mean, remember the Absa Cup not so long ago? You know, it gave us a glimpse of what we expect in the provinces. I remember Play It Forward. I think Play It Forward beat McKinney All Stars in the first round. Uh, they went on to play Red Arrows. They stood their own. Was it Zambezi Portland? I'm mixing the two. Yeah, but Zambezi Portland as well did well. I think they made it to. It was actually Zambezi Portland. Yeah, they made it to the second round of the APSA Cup. So it will be exciting. It will be very. It will be very very exciting. So I'm actually looking forward to the games. Forest Muyo here as well. This is a team that's doing well. I remember in the APSA Cup first round, they eliminated Barotse Crocs. So I think Barotse will be here for a kill. They would want a revenge. Played forward was in APSA as well. They've got something to prove. Um, Coming to Group B, Zambezi Portland, very good side. We saw what they can do. Rio Nakonde, I don't know. Rio Nakonde, they always come for the playoffs, but I mean, hopefully this time they make it to the Premier League. Last year they were here. I think the other year they were here as well. So let's see what has happened. What will happen? Market as well, good team. Nampundwe is a good side. I had the chance to watch them, and I'm confident that they'll make it to the National League. When you look at Mika FC, you know they're called the rich boys. These guys have got money. Let's see if their money is will help them. Yeah. So interesting stuff, Moses, and I'm looking forward to the games. I can't wait to go and watch 1 or 2 games. Yeah, my submission.
Thank you so much, Milius. Let's get to Tutu. Is he still available? Tutu, you can have your word on the playoffs. Milius, do we still have Tutu?
Tutu Yasida Bando. Aaron is back.
King,
Kings, yeah.
King, you can add your voice to the National Division 1 playoffs.
Yasira mabandozi.
Kings are great again. Anina mizira tinchidwa kumadina. Siri kuona Kings in background. It's your network. Mabando yako.
Yatira bundles mfana wanga. Mugulireko mabundles mfana wanga. Njani?
Hata mizira. But
King
King is back.
Bundles back.
Ah, yeah.
King, the playoffs, the National Division 1 playoffs will be on, and of course, we just want to hear your thoughts concerning what will happen and the format in itself. Mr. Mbewe did explain about the format, and it is right on the screen. You can speak to the playoffs.
I think for the playoffs myself, first of all, I think it would be very disappointing if we experience what we experienced last time. That's my concern. Number one, issues to do with player registrations. Number two, I'll talk of one specific game I saw and I heard the officials talking. Was Soreza Academy, this as Chipata Council. That one, I was there. It's me who I covered the game because the last season playoffs, I covered them all. And the clips, I still have them and everything. Where Chipata Council qualified. So their last game, they didn't need to win. So Soreza needed a win for them to qualify. Then there was already a deal in place that if Soreza qualifies, then Chipata United will buy their slot, which is Locust. And that's a slot they have, which is for Sorez. Because remember, Chipata United, which was Locust, was demoted. I heard the officials saying now we have already sorted out this game. Chipata City Council was reading 2-0, 3-0 in the first half. They came second half where they are playing. If I show you the clip, you even be disappointed. They are playing within their 18-yard box. They give a goalkeeper turns as if he's going to his own goal. Kwabula striker, somebody strike a ball again. That's nonsense. And Faz, I was very disappointed with Faz and whoever was looking after the playoffs. That was the Sesico, and that is something that should never be allowed. Match fixing is something that we should not be tolerating. And even the way the match was played second half, all those who were there could say there's something here because the deal went and they got it. They struck a deal during the halftime. We had officials who were talking proudly like that, and it's very disappointing. And there's something that happens on the other side because that game was at Imboya. So the other game was at that happened at Moni's ground there. What do you call it? Queensmead. Where a team that was playing well and everything, they saw to say they had lost a chance. So another team needed about 7 goals to qualify. And went and deliberately allowed 7 goals, or 7-8 goals at the same time. And that player had no interest to investigate of what was going on and everything. That's not right. And this is what Aaron is saying. End up sending teams that are not ready because they were helped. So I picked for Chipata City Council deliberately. So this is a match I covered. This is a match I heard officials talking. This is a match that really needed serious investigation. So I don't want us to see such this time around. I don't want us to see that such nonsensical things happening. Let's team qualify. And when they told us to say, oh no, the slot for Sorezi has been sold already, it's going to Chipata. So here we'll save our brothers. One of Chipata City Council will save our brothers, which is Chipata United by then. That's the time they sold it to Rockers. They said that it's better. There was another team, I think it was coming from Lwapula, that was in contention. They said it's better. Chipata buys it. It's easier to go to Lusaka than going to Lwapula. That was nonsensical, and it's not even right thing that we should be seeing in our Zambian football. So that
really offended me. I think I shared with Aaron to say, if I'm not mistaken, if it wasn't Punch, say there's this thing that is going, that's going on and that's being said here. And immediately, a day after, we had the announcement to say, no, Locust has got the slot for Sore's Academy. And it was true. It was Locust that qualified, and it was Locust that participated this season in the league. So that was not right, especially from Sparta City Council. And these are issues that have to be investigated. These are issues that has to be taken serious. And when you see things that happened even on the other side of where a team needed 7 goals, and this is a team that hasn't allowed more than 6 goals the whole 4 game they have played. 1-0 draw, because they sought to say for the first time again they go and allow 7 goals to save the other team so that it qualifies, because the other team they were competing with had advantage of almost 5 goals. And we saw such things happening. So for me, Moses, I don't think this is a story that we should be talking about this season. I don't think this is a story that we should tolerate this season. These issues first should take keen interest. This is what's killing football. How did Locust perform in the National League? Even the same Sparta City Council. And I think I still have those some of those clips which I cut during the coverage. That really got my concern. That I can share even in our group. That's not right. And that's my major concern. My second major concern is the issue we had of registration. Last playoffs, we had a lot of these issues of eligibility. And let's hope teams have done the right thing right now. Let's hope teams have registered players rightly. Let's hope teams have done their homework. The problem that comes in is the way teams have qualified now, they want to start registering players now for the playoffs. And I think also these playoffs should be changed. They should just, at the end of the season, when the season just ends, teams, when they're still fresh, they're still having their own players, they should go into playoffs to avoid some of these things. Because they'll still have that momentum, and no team will give an excuse of to say we didn't train, we didn't do what. They'll still have all their say. So, me personally, apart from which team will play what, this was my major interest of what I saw last season, especially game about Chipata. That one I witnessed myself. I was saying it's better they would rather save Chipata United, because right now it was sold to Locust because they are buying the throat from Sorez. So Sorez needs to win. It wasn't right. It wasn't right, and these are things that we should never even tolerate in the Zambian football. And these are things that parts should take serious. Coming to the playoffs, for me, Zambia Sportland played forward. I would love Nampundo to qualify because they've got good sponsorship. Nampundo can travel. Nampundo, they've got some sponsorship packages with Mchanga and the Concola Bullets. They are well taken care of. We want teams that are going to make impact and teams that will come to stay. Teams that can invest into players to bring competition in the league. So, Zambia Sportland is well sponsored. Straightforward, they've got a good team. But what I'm not sure is do they have the budget to be in the National League throughout? But can Straightforward qualify? Exactly, they will. They have the quality to go over. Zambia's Crocs is a Barossa Crocs. This is a team, this is a feeder to Kafio Celtic. It's a feeder to Kafio Celtic. They've got good sponsorship, but they have never really impressed. They have never really impressed at a playoff stage, and every time they're the ones who are coming to, most of the time they're the ones who are coming to represent Western Province. So they need to, I think they need to buy more quality. They need to to do more, because they have been here three, 4 times, but we are seeing the same. So they need to do something different this time around. So at the end of the day, the playoffs, my major interest in the women's football. The playoffs for women's football, Power Dynamos definitely will qualify. Power Dynamos have got a very good team, and that team of Power Dynamos doesn't just have young players. They've got also mature players who have played at Zesco. They've got main players who are in the Premier League from the NKANA team that got relegated. So the experience is vast. Green Buffaloes, we saw this season, young players from Young Buffalo who featured even at the senior Buffalo team. The experience is there, the quality is there. They have gathered a good team. Let's hope they are not going to be disturbed. And this is the reason why this season Buffalo came up with the issue of registration. This issue, why it really disappointed me myself, is because even during playoffs last season, the girls fought qualified to the National League, only to be disqualified because Buffaloes, they were forging players. Let's hope this time around it's not the same story, because already this season, they are caught twice cheating and forging players. So let's hope this is not the same story they will carry out into these playoffs this season, where we'll see the girls fight, qualify, again they're disqualified because of mischievous of the registrars and people who are running the club. The girls are fighting, it's a good team, and I'll tell you also, I cannot leave this to talk about the Southern Province winners. Bats went unbeaten, and they have a good team. And I'm sure they will qualify to going to the national league. Bats have got a good team, and also not forgetting the Northwestern champions, Kansas Dynamos ladies. I think they've got good sponsorship. They've got the pedigree also to fight for the sport. So my top 4 myself might be Green Buffaloes, Power Dynamos, Kansas Dynamos, and also talk of Bats. I think these, when you follow them, how they played, and how their season and the quality of player they have, you can see to say these are teams that are ready to also compete. And when you look at these teams, all of them, they've got very good sponsorship. That's why they managed to organize good teams that fought well to win the league. So for Power, even in the National League, I think they'll fight for the title. I'm impressed with the project, that though, let's hope that was an immediate plan, not the future plan, because a lot of players are out there. So going forward, they need to invest in young players who see themselves. So, but for the immediate plan, I think for the short planning, it was a good plan for Power. It's one of the teams that went unbeaten the whole season, just like Bats. We are looking forward to that. And of course, I'll be in Lusaka for the playoffs, and we're going to watch them closely and see whatever the playoffs are going to bring. Thank you, Moses.
Thank you so much. That's King there with his submission concerning the concerning the playoffs. I don't know why the 4 nations keeps on popping. Time is not the best friend at.
Well, that's a good thing that FAD did this year.
I didn't get you, King.
Now the 4 nations is stuck in your head, because that's the most good thing that FAD did this year.
I don't know why you want to tag FAZ in our conversations, but FAZ is an institution that is mandated to run football in Zambia, and whatever they do is very good to take our football forward. And so far, I can say they have done extremely well, and we wish them the best in our future endeavors, because even the playoffs themselves are obviously a product of us and ZPL. So they are doing incredibly well. We commend them for the good job that they are doing. And we hope that teams will be able to, of course, oblige to the rules, so that rules are followed, so that any team that failed to follow the rules, they should not blame it on FAZ. FAS, ZPL, they are mandated to give them the platform, and the platform has been presented to them. Any good team that wants to deliver, they have to follow the rules. And practically in football, there is no shortcut. So we hope that the teams that have, of course, made it to the playoffs, they are going to do a good job. And we should commend Mr. Mbewe for doing a great job. This means that the Get Up show is spread across on board. And of course, he made sure that the playoffs are made lighter and understood by everyone. And that's where we're supposed to be. For me, if you are going to have 20 teams as per se, the most efficient is to have a semi-final playoff. And this is exactly what Mr. Mbeo was breaking down, where the best two, for now at ease, will be able to qualify or from the group. But what is interesting is the other, of course, playoff. That's where you get the bone of contention of the playoffs. So in going forward, I think it will keep on improving. So King, Faz is doing well, and this year they have done well, and in the coming years,
You've just extended the time. I said why the Four Nations is stuck in your head. For me, that's the most credible thing that FAS has done this year. That we need to recommend them. So from our playoffs, we will not say much.
We thank you, King, and no further debate on that. So, gentlemen, time is not the best friend. We have to wrap it up in terms of the Get Up. But before we go, let's just maybe learn from one of us or each of us what our weekend will be like and what we're looking forward to. Let me start with you, King. As we say our bye-byes, please just highlight something. Okay.
Aaron, mkuru wako.
King
thank you, Aaron. It's you saying that's not Bwezani or any other. So, Aaron, you'll be given some time to talk.
Yes. So, first things first. The Copa Queens are regrouping here to prepare for AFCON. They did in April, they played in the FIFA series. A week and some days ago, they hosted those 3 nations tournament. There's a lot of work that needs to be done. I think Coach Nola will join later, and after that, they'll go to Algeria where they are going to camp, and they're supposed to play 2 friendlies. That's what FAS has hinted, that they play 2 friendlies while in Algeria before a chartered flight to Morocco where the tournament is. So remember, this is a FIFA World Cup qualifier. The top 4 teams in the WAFCON to reach the semi-finals will qualify to the World Cup. So Zambia qualified in 2023, which was very good. Hopefully they can do that again this time around. So that's what's happening with the Copa Queens. As for my friend,
Aaron,
yes.
Did you say, you can repeat? Did you say that the Copa Queens are going to Algeria?
Yes, they'll go to Algeria. That's where they'll camp. I think next month.
By a chartered plane.
Stop using me as a middleman in your problems. Yeah, so they will come to Algeria for like 2 weeks or so, and then they will jet into Morocco. The foreign-based players whose leagues are off, I think those from Turkey should be joining camp together with the local players, and I think those like Eva from Israel, whose season is off. She's been in the gym lately just to announce. You can see the videos on our socials. So she's joining together with the local team in camp. And I think the 2 players, Lucio Momemba and Martha Tembo from Turkey, are also joining. Those from China, the season is on. Those from the USA, the season is on. Although they have a month break, they cannot be released until late next month. So they only join later on because their teams have resumed training despite them having a month break because of the World Cup. So yeah, those are the challenges here and there. but the local players, all of them are supposed to be in camp, and I'm sure I've heard Enedes, she should be part of the team that will be entering camp today. So yeah, the preparations are on, but all we ask from Coach Nora is that we qualify to the World Cup. Other than that, for me, it's a failure. So yeah, that's that. Away from all these important things for the weekend, I'm watching the World Cup, following the World Cup, obviously. Of course, as a diehard for the Portugal national team, supporting my GOAT, Cristiano Ronaldo, the greatest thing since bread. After that, there's a bit of FIFA here and there, and of course, maybe a social football game at 15 hours. Yes, try to showcase my scoring skills. In my young days, for those who may not know, we should ask Lucky Moses. He will tell you that in my young days, I was nicknamed Aguero because of my goal scoring prowess. Unlike Bozan, who doesn't know how to kick a ball. Yes. Thank you.
Ungatina,
Thank you so much.
Ungatina,
Thank you, Aguero. Thank you, Aguero. Thank you, Aguero.
My street cred is out there. My street cred is on point. It's out there.
Ungatina, me.
Manje nangenamo bwanji. Nangenamo bwanji.
Aaron was prolific on the bench.
Please, Aaron was known as Aguero. So, thank you so much, Aaron, and yeah, good to know what obviously will be happening with you, especially the playing side of football. Let's bring in King. King, in your few words, what will be up for the weekend for you? I know the World Cup is up and running, but in your few words, King, how is the weekend looking like for you?
Stress the word
I think the past 4 days I haven't really slept. I've been watching the World Cup throughout. And then tomorrow, I think it's journey to the West. I'll be going to Lusaka to follow the proceedings of the playoffs the whole week. So it's just for preparations and also run 1 or 2 errands concerning the off season, because I think the team is regrouping on Monday. Full training is starting, so there are 1 or 2 things that has to be done, not announcement. So yeah, it's as short as that for me.
Okay, thank you so much, King. That was quite some few words. Mr. Mbewe, the stress was stress on the word few, and
but why come out like that is who always have a wrong passage.
No. we are wrapping it up, so everyone knows that it's a few words, isn't King? Okay, Mr. Mbewe, King wants you to respond, but I won't allow it because we are wrapping up the show. So let's bring in Milias.
All right, thanks, Moses. Thanks. So my day is very simple. So I'm going to Kawata Grounds. There's a youth tournament. It's called Josam Youth Cup. So my team, Kamana South Academy, will be playing today against Sundowns. So there are a lot of games happening. So yeah, I'll spend most of my day at that site. So it has been an interesting tournament. You see this Kama boy on the screen is 8 years, playing under 14. Very good guy. Very good on the ball, technique, brilliant. So yeah, I'm going to watch the boys. Today I'm going with my camera. I need to capture the talent and everything. Yeah, apart from that, I'll be glued to the World Cup. I'm hoping in the second round, my GOAT, the one and only true GOAT, Ronaldo scores a hat-trick. so that we, yeah,
You
back in
knows
the game.
ball. You knows
Yeah,
ball. You knows ball.
yeah. That's my weekend. What's these things? Oh, lastly, I already said invite FIFA. Could there be chako FIFA? Yeah.
No problem. Ndakutumira phone. I think lero mostly need pa nyumba. Apart from time ndo cha
No
ball.
pressure.
Nza nikuwine.
No pressure. All right, thanks, Moses.
Okay. All right. Okay. Musman, how will be your day today?
I've been following Aaron Mwanga Jr. very closely on his Facebook page. So I'll be meeting him today in South Africa at OR Tembo. He's traveling to Uzbekistan to go and shout at the fans there and tell them that they're a strong team. So they shouldn't play too well against Ronaldo. So I'm just looking forward to meeting him while he flies to Uzbekistan, saying it's a very tough group. And you can see the reasoning when we all know Aaron was very prolific on the bench. He called himself Aguero, so it goes to show you the people that support Ronaldo that there's something wrong with them mentally, but we'll continue to keep them in our prayers. That being said, I have my radio show at 2 p.m. I'll be obviously focusing on the World Cup, and that's strictly with African teams. So I'll talk a little bit about Ivory Coast, some fun interviews that were done with South African fans, the complaints, the concerns they had, that would also air. So mostly the weekend will be about the World Cup, watching the games, mostly African teams. I see there's Netherlands, Switzerland, or Sweden today. Maybe see Gyökeres from Arsenal, see what he's going to do in that game. Germany, Ivory Coast, everyone, I like how Western media writes off African teams. And I think Germany will be in for a shock against Ivory Coast. They've also had a decent start to the tournament. So mostly my weekend is football, nothing much to do. I have a few reports I need to catch up with at work, send them at least today by 5. But yeah, that's the rest of my weekend, and following Aaron to Uzbekistan to go and shout at those fans and hope that his goat wins against a very strong Uzbekistan side, claiming that the Messi teams that he plays against are easy, and yet they've got Uzbekistan. Thank you.
Thank you, Musman. Thank you, and well said. The emphasis has been made. Someone will be followed to Uzbekistan. Let's hear what Mr. Mbewe will be up to for the weekend. Mr. Mbewe, the weekend.
Yeah, I'm in Lusaka now, so I'll go and visit 2 teams. This just after the show. That is Mushtala of Northwestern and Mathcat of Luapula. So in my visit to these 2 provinces, I did pass and watched some of these games, and I pledged water. Okay, so we will be taking water for the teams. Musman sent me some money to buy water. We are always grateful for the support. The other time it was tickets. So those of you that are watching Mushtala, and the water will be delivered. Thanks to the Get Up team. I think that's what my weekend looks like, and also to see what other teams will be preparing. So those of you that wants to add up to the water like Musman has done, remember there are 10 teams. So we are just, I have 5 cases for Mushtala and 5 cases for Mathcat. So we still have the other team. So those of you that want to add up, I know Miria's can. Who else can on this show? I'm looking at those that can. Aaron. Aaron actually runs a team. He knows why it is important for water. Yeah. So Medias, please get in touch.
Mr. Mbewe. Mr. Mbewe. We're also looking for sponsors. You see these boys, we have to buy them food.
We will make a plan.
We need to buy food for about 2 or 3 teams here. So
no worries, we'll make a plan.
Yeah. We are looking for sponsors as well.
Yes, they're using Kamanga tactics of cooking in Shima in camp.
Yeah, no, we asked we just buy bread. So if you can just get us 3 loaves or 4, then we are okay. At least we'd have fed the
chipoto cha
team.
juice na chipoto cha
Hey,
juice
that's
nachapo
what I do.
tournament yetu
So,
pachani
Julius, where do we
pakawata pa
deliver where do we deliver what you're asking?
kawata
Kawata grounds. So up in the Kawata. But if you can
kawata
send Kawata grounds, we
Bamboo.
appreciate.
Okay, I'll give you a call after the show.
All right, thanks.
Okay. That's my weekend.
Okay, it's a packed weekend. Still packed weekend, Mr. Mbewe. My weekend, not much. Solving the Germany and Ivory Coast game. Just looking at the permutations here and there, the stats and everything. Yeah, and maybe 1 or 2 interviews, then I'm done for the day. I solved my game yesterday. It was Australia rather, and yeah, it was nice. So today, not much. So looking forward to the playoffs on how they are going to turn up, and maybe just having a whole lot of time at home today. So yeah, that's what my weekend will be. A lot of rest. The league has closed, so it's going to be that. And I should say many thanks to each and everyone who took their time to drop us a message on the Get Up Show, to obviously contribute in the conversations and just sharing their of course thoughts. And today, do not in any way crucify Mr. Mbewe for saying poor NKANA fans. All he was just bringing on across is to make sure that he justified what he put off from the newspaper. Is it 26 million? 26,000 rather, that was raised
You
out
should
of
you should
30.
even write it, Mr. Mbewe. Write an article. I'll be the first to comment.
The poorest fans in Zambia. He meant to say they're not well-to-do fans.
Anyways, I should say it's been a great show, gentlemen. We'll catch up next time, same place, and of course, right here. Peace. We sign out.
No, let me sign out, everybody. Remember, Ronaldo is the greatest football player of all time. The Copa Queens are in camp, and Usman is a liar. See you next week. We are out.
Ronaldo
Best
can't even
out
start
ever.
Ronaldo.